Weirdos presents Night Beat. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, Night Beat, another in the Wheaties' big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many different ways. And sometimes when you pick up the threads of a yarn and start putting them together, you find you've woven yourself a shroud.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
Did you know? Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. They really can. The world isn't half so tough to face when you've got a good breakfast under your belt. And it doesn't matter what part of the world you're facing either. Farmers can farm better, actors can act better, salesmen can sell better on a better breakfast. And that's what you start with when you start with Wheaties. Because here are flakes of whole wheat, with the vitamins, the minerals, the wonderful, life-giving energy of whole wheat. The very things you need to get work done that you're meant to get done in the morning. Of course, it's no fun getting up in the morning to just a batch of vitamins and minerals. Wouldn't that be dull? But it's fun, you bet it is, to lay spoon to crisp, flaky little flakes called Wheaties. Pour on the cold milk, put on the fruit you like best, and eat happy. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast for you. Come on now. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
A great poet once wrote about Chicago. He said it was a city built by men with muscles and a willingness to use them. Well, Chicago is still full of willing people. Some willing to work and others willing to let them. You take Gus Reed, who broke jail last week while doing life for murder. Not that he ever became bent with honest toil. He just got crooked trying to avoid it. But now he was out, escaped with a famous hood named Neil Ramsey. When I dropped into the precinct station to see if there were any late developments, the boys told me there might be some later on. So I stepped out for a cup of coffee and a sandwich at Harpoon Louie's, a few blocks down the avenue.
Oh, hello, Mr. Stone. Been several nights since I've seen you. Working hard?
Well, I've been on the jump. What's good tonight?
Got a fresh baked ham that's quite tasty.
That's a deal.
On white or rye?
Rye, I guess.
Mustard and pickle, I presume?
Yeah, and a cup of coffee. Well, look what just walked in.
Huh?
Looks like the man from Mars. What happened, kiddo? Your flying saucer breakdown?
Oh, well, goodness, you're a big boy to be wearing a Halloween mask.
Shut up.
What's the big idea?
What's it look like? This is a sticker.
The kid was sandy-haired, skinny, and as nervous as a two-headed boy at a scalping party. A mask covered his entire face, a fantastic false face with a couple of rubber antennae quivering over the eyebrows. Very amusing, until you looked down and saw the .38 in his fist.
All right. You, behind the counter. Open the cash register. Let's have it, quick.
Well, all right.
Easy with that gun, kid.
Shut up, Neil. Empty your pockets.
Anything you say. Easy on the trigger. Here you are.
All right. You behind the counter. Just lay that money on the showcase.
It isn't worth it, you know, son.
I'll just take that.
As the kid stepped forward, his eyes on the money, I lunged swinging. He whirled as my fist smashed against his wrist. The gun hit the floor, and I snatched at his mask, ripping off a corner as the elastic snapped. He jerked away, tripping me as I grabbed him. I fell. The last thing I remember as my head hit the radiator was his white face as he jerked open the door and darted out.
Help! Please!
When I came to, I was lying on the floor with the delicatessen owner and a couple of cops standing over me. I stared up at them, my brain knee-deep in fog.
Oh. That man's gone, huh?
Oh.
How's your head feel, Stone?
Oh, it's sagging like a wet circus tent.
Here, let me help you out, Mr. Stone.
Thank you. I can manage.
Hey, here's a description of the kid that Louis gave us. See how it checks with you, will you?
Okay. Yeah, that's right. About 13, 5 feet 3, light hair. Mm-hmm.
I suppose you'll be able to trace him by that gun you left, won't you?
Oh, it's probably stolen.
Why do you suppose a boy, a child, would do a thing like that? You suppose he was hungry?
Those little rats are just born mean, I know.
But all this juvenile delinquency we've been having lately, can't something be done?
The only answer is treat 'em rough. Got to be twice as hard as they think they are.
Well, tombstones are hard, too, officer, but they generally have a good word or two for the people beneath them.
Okay, Mr. Stone. After what happened to you tonight, I'll leave it to you to find a good word for him.
Well, heaven help us if we don't.
Come on, Joe. Be at detective headquarters first thing in the morning, will you, Louis?
Yes. Well, I suppose I'd better make a report to my insurance company.
Oh, what's this?
What is it, Mr. Stone? You find something?
Yeah, a piece of the kid's mask. Tore it off when I grabbed him. Police must have overlooked it flying there on the floor.
Well, it doesn't matter, I suppose.
No, maybe not, but it's the part that has the price label stuck on the inside.
Oh?
Yeah, with the name of the store printed on it. Eddie and Mabel's, refreshments, toys, novelties. Louis, where's your telephone directory? The address turned out to be down in the low-rent district. I hopped a taxi, and in a matter of minutes, I was standing in front of Eddie and Mabel's, staring at the toys littering the dusty showcase. Among them lay a few tired-looking masks, each one identical with the one the kid had worn. I went in.
Yeah? Something I can do for you?
I was just noticing those masks in your window. Have you sold any recently?
Masks? Who sells masks this time of year? Why?
Well, I just wondered.
A drummer comes in and sells my husband masks. Can you imagine? In April, my husband buys masks for Halloween.
Well...
A head he's got on him. 2 months we have these masks in stock, and how many do you think we sell? One. One single mask. A businessman, he calls himself. Ha!
Just when did you sell that one mask?
Well, it so happens just this morning. To a 13-year-old boy who needs it like I need a hole in the head.
Who is he?
His poor mother slaves all day long in a laundry, and he spends money on junk like that. Does it pay to have children, I ask you?
What's his name?
Reed, Jimmy Reed. Oh, I feel sorry for his mother. Such a bum that kid is. But with that kind of a father, what can you expect?
Oh, wait just a minute. Did you say Reed? Who is his father?
Gus Reed, the gangster who breaks out of prison. It's in all the papers.
Oh, yeah. I see. How is it that you know the boy and his mother so well?
Why shouldn't I? They live in the apartment house on the corner. Why?
Oh, thank you. Good night. I could have sworn that I'd heard dim voices as I'd approached the door of the Reed apartment, but now there was nothing but silence. The silence of an enemy holding his breath.
Who is it?
Does Jimmy Reed live here?
What's he done now?
Are you Mrs. Reed?
Yeah. Are you from the police?
Oh, no, but I'd like to see him for his own good.
Well, he's not here now. If you'll come back tomorrow,
Look, lady, if I go now, I'll be back with a cop.
Let him in. If it's so important. Come in, pal. No sense bothering the cops. I said come in. And keep those mitts lifted high.
It was the infamous Neil Ramsey, the lad who busted out with Gus Reed. He stepped from behind the door, lean and dark, his mouth grinning, but his eyes as cold as rigor mortis. Eyes I'd seen staring from many an FBI poster and Rogues Gallery album. And behind him, the heavier, red-eyed Gus.
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on in.
Okay, Gus, I'll go along with the crowd. Those guns you've got look like a big crowd to me.
Hey, Pop, that's the guy who jumped me at the delicatessen.
Hi, Jimmy.
The
boy made a slight mistake, Gus. He didn't keep his eye on the sucker.
You and your lousy $2. I would have done all right if you hadn't stuck your big fat nose in.
Not much of a teacher, are you, Gus? But then I don't suppose I can blame you. You never had nerve enough to stick up anybody yourself. You shot him in the back and then robbed him.
I ain't got nerve, huh?
Show him, Pop.
Gus, don't.
Please don't needle him, mister. He's been drinking.
Yeah, I know. Whenever he gets into trouble, he tries to pull himself out with a corkscrew. You can't do it, Gus.
He said Papa's yellow.
So I'm yellow, huh?
Oh, sure. You're a colorful character, Gus. A red nose, white liver, and a yellow streak.
Yellow, huh?
Don't try it, Gus. Shoot, and you'll get the chair this time.
Keep your hands up. Yellow, huh?
Gus, no!
Oh, show you.
No!
His gun butt cracked against my skull, and I staggered backwards, tripped over a constellation of stars, and fell into darkness.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it? You've killed him! Killed him!
General Mills is bringing you Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
We have a special treat for you tonight, and here's Ed Prentice to tell you about it.
Thanks, Frank. Folks, I'd like you to meet an old friend of mine. Here's Luke Appling, the dashing young man of the Chicago White Sox.
Cut it out, Ed. I've been playing ball for the Sox for over 20 years.
Why, that's way back before Wheaties baseball broadcast.
That's almost way back before Wheaties. And say, Ed, speaking of Wheaties, I brought along some peaches from down home in Georgia. Reckon we can locate some bowls around here? Maybe the cast would like a little snack after the show.
Well, what could be better than that? A Wheaties champion dishing up the breakfast of champions for a bunch of champion actors. Stick around, Luke. I got a whole case of Wheaties waiting for you.
That's swell, Ed, but could I have just one bowl now? Wheaties are awfully tough to wait for.
And now back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
When I found myself the prisoner of a couple of fugitive killers, I should have played it dumb instead of giving out with a smart talk. Might have saved me a crack on the head to match the one I got in the delicatessen store. When I came to, I was lying on a sofa, limp as a poached egg on toast. I turned my head and I saw Mrs. Reed with Lieutenant Saunders of Homicide.
Looks like he's coming out of it. How do you feel, Stone?
One more dent in my skull. I'll rent it for a golf ball. So Gus and Neil got past you, huh?
Well, they won't get past the roadblocks we set up.
How'd they get out of the house? Over the roof?
Yep, same way they got in, apparently.
Old stuff. You should have figured that, Lieutenant.
Oh, sure. Just like you figured on finding him there when you stuck your nose in.
Yeah. Jimmy go with him?
Jimmy's a child. Baby, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a good boy, Mr. Stone. It's all his father's fault. He's twisted Jimmy. He thinks his father's a hero.
Okay, Mrs. Reed, that wraps it up. We're through here for the time being.
After Lieutenant Saunders and his men left, I tried to get the answers to some questions I'd missed. For instance, why had Gus and Neil come here? What had they wanted?
Food, liquor, money. They took everything I had.
Have any idea where they might be heading?
I only wish I knew.
Well, Gus broke out a week ago. If this is the first time he's been here, there's a chance he's been laying low in a hideout, probably just outside of Chicago.
I don't know.
Mrs. Reed, do you think Jimmy's known about the hideout? Has his father been in touch with him this past week?
I don't know. He's been acting so strange.
Mm-hmm. You think Gus could have contacted him before he broke out? Or that Jimmy might have known in advance?
Well, how could he?
Did he see his father in prison lately?
No, not lately.
Uh-huh. Gus write him very often?
No, not nearly as much as Jimmy wrote him.
He kept his father's letters?
Oh, of course. Kept them like they were treasure.
Can you get them? I'd like to look them over.
I'll see if I can find them.
I studied the half dozen or so letters that Mrs. Reed brought me and found nothing. They were uniformly dull, stupid, and apparently without significance. That is, all except the last one.
Jimmy got it a couple of weeks ago. Read it.
Be a good boy and don't get mixed up with the old Lakeside gang or the bunch at the tavern. Abandon the road to evil. It doesn't sound like Gus, does it?
Trying to get in good with the prison censor, that's why. Putting on the hypocrite.
Uh-huh. I get homesick off and on. Your accident on the Compton Highway was tough. Yours truly, your old man.
Compton Highway? I don't know what Jimmy told him, but he certainly didn't have any accident.
What about the Lakeside gang?
Oh, I never heard of it.
This bunch at the tavern he mentions.
Well, I tell you, it doesn't make sense. Jimmy would have told me if there'd been any trouble. I know he would have.
Abandon the road to evil. No, you're absolutely right, Mr. Reed. Doesn't make sense. I held it up to the ceiling light, and there it was. Pinpoints of light gleaming through 8 words in the letter.
What is it?
Does this make any sense to you? Old Lakeside Tavern, abandoned road off Compton Highway.
Lakeside Tavern. Of course. Gus used to work there.
When?
Years ago. It was a beer parlor.
On an abandoned road?
Well, it wasn't then. They built a shortcut later that bypassed it. The place was condemned.
Uh-huh. Well, I'd better be going.
I'm going with you.
On a hold?
You can't stop me. Jimmy's there.
We don't know that.
Well, if that's where they are, he's there, and I'm going.
Now, look, the best thing that we can do is go to the police and tell them what
No, Mr. Stone, please. They'll be shooting. Jimmy will be killed.
As long as he stays with...
Even if he isn't, if he's arrested there, it'll make things worse for him than they are now. Please, Mr. Stone, let's do it my way.
But what? What can you do?
Well, get him away from there first before the police come.
Well, I'll probably regret this, but come on. We took a taxi to the garage where I picked up my car, and we headed out past Lincoln Park, turning southeast for the highway. You sure we turned off at the right place?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. This is part of the old road. There. There it is, the tavern between those trees.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
What is it?
Thought I saw a light in one of those windows.
Oh, I didn't see anything.
Now, look, we passed a filling station about a mile back down the road. Be much better if we went back and buzzed the state highway.
Oh, no.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, wait!
Jimmy! Jimmy!
Look, you want to get us killed?
There's nobody here.
All right, let's get back to the car and get out of here.
Wait.
What are you doing?
I'd like to take a look inside.
Why?
Well, they may have been here and gone. Please wait. We might come on a clue.
Everything comes to him who waits, including a hearse.
It's unlocked.
Now, let's get a match going. Okay, let's go in and watch out for snakes.
Don't you ever knock?
Oh.
Well, I was afraid we'd find a snake in here. Hiya, Neil.
Stay right where you are, wise guy.
What are you doing there in the dark, waiting for something to develop?
You know, that door with the moonlight behind you makes a very nice frame. I couldn't miss.
Jimmy! Jimmy, where are you?
Cut it out, sister. Okay, Gus, open up the lantern. We got him.
Yeah.
Gus.
Yeah.
Close the door, mister.
So you found the place, huh?
Gus.
Well, I hope you're satisfied.
Gus, where's Jimmy? What's happened to him?
What's happened to him, she says. Here I am sitting with a bullet in my chest, and all she hollers is what's happened to that dumb little punk.
Gus.
She sees me.
Gus, where is he?
Oh, dry up. He'll be back. I just sent him down the road for a can of gas.
Where's your car?
You think we'd leave it out in front?
What happened to Gus? Who shot him?
What difference does it make? This is one story you ain't covering, pal. There ain't no kibitzes tonight. You dealt yourself in, and your cards don't look good, pal. Not with me holding 6 bullets in my hand.
Well, like they say, Neil, the game is always darkest before you've drawn.
Yeah, well, you don't get no more cards, friend. You're through.
The roadblock. Of course. Gus got it when you crashed the roadblock.
Give the sucker a cigar.
You know, I'd get a bang knocking you two off right now. But just in case we do have trouble, maybe we could use a hostage or two.
Hostage? Neil, that's a $2 word.
Yeah. I got a 39-cent rope to go with it. Turn around, both of you. Well, I guess that'll hold you for a while. Keep him covered, Gus. As soon as the kid gets back, he can come upstairs and stand watch at the window while I come down and take over. Give you a chance to sleep.
Yeah.
And if they try anything, let them have it.
I can handle them. Go on.
Gus, I don't care what you do to me, but your son, your own flesh and blood.
Shut up.
Gus, please.
Yapping, always
Listen,
yapping.
Gus, all this time I've been saving, hoping to have enough to send him to college someday, and then you come back.
College? All right, so he'll go to college. I got some deals cooking. Look, you help me get out of this spot, and then we'll have enough dough. The Gold Coast Servants College, huh? So I'll send him to college.
But you can send him to college, Gus, now.
What? What are you talking
You're worth $5,000. Dead or alive.
Reward for me?
$5,000. Look, let Ann turn you in. Let her, Gus. She'll get the reward. Just cut us loose.
What kind of a sucker do you think I am, you lying?
All right, then. All I gotta say is you better see a doctor before morning if you expect to live.
Shut up! I'll dance on your grave, you creep.
What's the use of kidding yourself? You're dying. You're just sitting there dying. Your only chance is a doctor now, before it's too late. I don't have to tell you, Gus. That bullet's in your lungs. And when you start to go, it'll be fast. Nothing will save you.
Go ahead and die, why don't you now?
No. Now, look.
Someone's coming.
Jimmy!
Ma! Ma, how'd you get here?
Oh, Jimmy.
Pa, did you have to tie her up?
Hey, punk!
Neil! Hey, why'd you have to tie her up?
Seen you come up the road with that can of gas. Where is it?
Outside.
Well, get it in the car. You hear? Make it snappy.
Yeah.
And when you're through, come on up here.
Okay. Ma.
It's all right, Jimmy.
Jimmy, Neil will kill your mother. You've got to cut us loose.
Oh, no. No, he won't. Everything will be all right, Ma.
I gotta get to a doctor.
You haven't got much time, Gus.
I gotta get out of here.
But jeepers, Pop, we can't. Maybe if I can get Neil to let me go for a doctor...
A doctor won't do him any good here. He's got to get to a hospital.
Yeah.
But, Pop...
But I'm dying. I can't lay here and just die.
But, Pop, Neil said all the roads...
Neil'll be hanged. He can burn for all I care.
It's your only chance, Gus. Not only for yourself, but for your wife and Jimmy. The reward will help.
Reward? What difference does that make to me? Look, I gotta get to a hospital. Look, I'll cut you loose. You gotta help me. Huh? Roll over.
Right. Close enough?
Yeah. Make a sound, you little rat, and I'll blast you.
Gus, he won't.
There. Now your hands are loose.
Give me that gun and the knife. Okay, Mrs. Reed.
Oh.
And now your ankles.
Oh.
There you are. Okay.
Just stand right where you are.
Neil.
Yeah, your partner.
Neil Ramsey stood at the head of the stairs at the other end of the big room. I could barely make him out in the dim gloom, but you didn't have to spotlight his .45 to know that it was looking down at us.
Drop the rod, journalist.
He came down, crossed the floor, his face twisted in the kind of grin you see pictured on labels over the word poison.
So you want to go to a hospital, eh, Gus?
Neil, I gotta. I can't breathe.
And I can blame for all you care, eh?
No, I didn't mean it that way, Neil.
You want to go to a hospital, give up. They can't give you a worse sentence than what you got now, is that it?
I wouldn't say anything, Neil. I
But me, I burn when they catch me, eh? But you don't care. That's okay by you, eh?
I'm no good to you, Neil, please. Please, Neil, don't do it. I wouldn't double-cross you, I swear I wouldn't.
Yeah, you swear. I'm just looking at you, Gus. I'm wondering why an operator like me, who's supposed to have a few brains, ever tied up with a cheap, yellow...
Come on, Pops, they're not yellow.
What's the matter, punk? Does the truth hurt? Well, he'll tell you so himself. Go on. Tell him, Gus. Tell him you're a cheap, yellow louse. Tell him or I'll...
I'm a cheap yellow louse. Oh, please, Neil, please let me alone. I can't breathe. Please.
You can't breathe, eh? Well, nobody that can't breathe belongs in any hospital.
Neil.
No.
The place for him
No.
is the morgue.
No.
You butcher!
You shot my Pop. You shot him. I'll kill you!
The kid flew at him, and as he wheeled to shoot, I put everything I had into a right that struck behind his ear with a shock that jarred me to my toes. Neil lay at our feet, sprawled out as cold as a witch's kiss. Jimmy stared down at him, the frenzy draining from his face. And something else went out of him, too. He turned slowly and he stared at Gus's dead face for half a minute.
Why did he do it? Why did Bob do it? Do what, Jimmy? What, dear? Turned yellow. Yellow! He turned yellow!
Look, Jimmy, I know he was your pop and it's tough, but without his gun, he was nothing. Nate would have turned yellow, too, if Gus had hit the drop on him. Without their guns, without having that advantage, they're all yellow, Jimmy, all of them. Begging for their lives and licking your boots and asking for mercy that they themselves would never give. People like that aren't heroes, kiddo. Takes a lot more than a gun to make a hero. A lot more.
Jimmy.
And you know what, Jimmy? You can be different. I think you have what it takes.
Jimmy, dear.
You'll be all right, given half a break. I'm sure of it. 4 a.m., the morning's still dark with leftover night. A few hours from now, Mrs. Reed will find out that there is no reward for Gus, that I lied trying to trick him into letting us go. But she'll feel better about it, maybe, when she finds out there is one for Neil, and $5,000 worth. So maybe Jimmy will have his chance for an education after all. That is, after we straighten out a slight case of armed robbery and aiding to escape convicts. This is going to take quite some straightening, but when it comes to kids, even at 4 in the morning, I'm an optimist. Well, so that's it. It isn't often life ties up a story with a rose-colored ribbon. Usually it just leaves the loose ends dangling. So, well, let's tie it up. Copy, boy.
You are listening to Night Beat on the Wheaties Big Parade.
And here's the star of Night Beat, Frank Lovejoy. Got your Wheaties on you, Frank?
Oh, no, I hardly ever carry them with me, Frank, but I always know where I can get them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We have a place on the cupboard shelf at home reserved for the Wheaties box.
Well, I suppose with a couple of youngsters digging in, the Wheaties don't last long at the Lovejoy house.
Oh, that's for sure. We really go through them.
So do we. I guess there are a lot of families like ours, Frank, where Wheaties have a reserved place on the cupboard shelf.
Well, I can't think of a nicer whole wheat flake to reserve a place for, Frank Martin. Good night.
Good night, Frank Lovejoy. Get your Wheaties, everybody.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis and edited by Larry Marcus. Tonight's story was written by Irvin Ashkenazi and John Robinson, with music by Frank Worth. The part of Gus was played by Bill Conrad. Bea Benaderet was Anne. Others in tonight's cast were Jack Crucian, Sheldon Leonard, Jeff Silver, and Parley Bear. Listen next week at this time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen also on Tuesday, that's tomorrow night, to the Penny Singleton Show on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Night Beat came to you transcribed from Hollywood. Stay tuned now for Top Secret, starring Alona Massey on NBC.
Check, testing 1, 2. Ah, fuck it. Good morning. That was a quick one there. How are we today? I are okay. I know Joey's at the DMV, so gosh, Joey. How's it going there at the DMV? The damn V. Damn. Where'd that bong hit? Still using my graphics bong here. My glass bong still has no glass bowl. Ah. There we go. Well, it's Friday. It is May 2nd. May 2nd. I got a little confused. I thought yesterday was the 2nd. And that yesterday was not only the 2nd, but yesterday was Wednesday. Go figure. I thought today was going to be Thursday. And then I remembered that, wait a second, I did arts and crafts yesterday. We looked at 8 tracks yesterday. And on my schedule it says, that's Thursday. So, there you go. There you go. My daughter has one more week and one more day. It's like, I think she's got like 4 days left of university this year. And this will be her first year, and next year will be her last year at university. I suspect that she just might do some more school. Nothing like what she's doing now. Right now she's doing brain school stuff, and it's driving her crazy. She was frustrated on Wednesday about how things are going. But yesterday she found out from one of her instructors that she's doing really good and she doesn't have to worry. The paper that she was stressing over, it's like it's done. Just put a front and a back on it and it's done. So there you go. And I'm hoping that she realizes that the other classes are going to be like that. She's got her classes so handled that even if she were to fail miserably at the end, she'd still get a really good passing grade. It would bring her average down a little bit, and she'd have to make it up somehow, but still, she wouldn't fall below financial aid requirements. So, and, failing a class for her would be like getting a B. That would be a failing grade for her. So, I don't see where she's got anything to worry about. Of course, she worries about her stuff because it's her stuff. And I think we've instilled in her enough to know that she can be responsible for her own life. Yeah, it really makes me happy to know that she's getting her done. Getting her done. Yeah. Yesterday I did lay down right after the show. I had a little cereal and then laid down. Yesterday after the show I laid down and then took my daughter to work or to school at noon. That's her job at school. That's no job. Yeah, it's a job. When it means financial aid money, then it's a job. She gets paid to go to school. So that's why she worries about her grade point average. If you do it right, you don't have to pay for school. Of course, you got to be dirt poor like we are. That helps. But the fact that she's done really good in school her whole life really helps too, because that all that financial aid money that she gets, she does not have to spend at school. All of her school tuition is taken care of through financial aid and grants, and So she pockets a pretty good amount of money every year, every semester, which makes this a job for her. And she can't do this if she's got to work, if she's got to worry about bills and car payments and insurance and rent and that kind of crap. So she stays at home, and she's going to stay at home as long as she wants, as long as we can make this work, as long as she can. I don't care if she has a significant other and wants to stay at home. That's fine. That's totally fine. The fact that she knows that at home doesn't mean restrictions and boundaries and rules and it means that we're together. That's all it means. It means that we're together. It doesn't mean that she has to. She asks about everything that she does still. She doesn't need to, but she's responsible enough to say, hey, I'd like to go out to the movies. Is that going to be okay with everybody? Right? I mean, how cool is that? She's a really awesome person. And I am proud to just know her, let alone to have her as my daughter. So, yeah. Whatever we can do to make her schooling easier. Because there's no reason for me to toughen her up for life. Life is going to do enough of that. Life is going to beat her up enough. My job right now is to make things as easy as possible for her. So when she does get out in the world, she's not already beaten up. You know? There's so many people that go out there and they're so beat up from life by the time they're 30 years old that so many of them wind up homeless, drug addicted, alcoholics, clueless, married to the wrong person, right? I'm really trying to avoid any of this happening to her, and knowing that she's got it all the help she needs at home. That's important to me, and I hope it's important to her. I hope at some point she realizes that, you know, how lucky she is. I mean, mainly because I know, because of what I had to go through as a kid. And I've seen a lot of other kids have to struggle just to make ends meet, just to survive after their parents kicked them out of the house at 18. You know? I mean, I've known some of my friends who were kicked out at 18 whose parents didn't even want anything to do with them. Literally sold the house and fucking moved. You know, what does that say, not about their kids, but what does that say about their parenting? That when your kid turns 18, you want to get as far away from them as fucking possible. What does that say about the parent, not the kid? What does it say about the parent? And I always knew that as a kid, whatever was happening to me was never my fault. It was always my parents' fault. Whatever happened, even if it was something that I did, it wasn't my fault, because my parents should have been responsible enough to teach me. And then I finally had to be my own parent and teach myself my own responsibilities and my own rules and regulations. That wasn't until I was in my teens and early 20s, because my parents were just really good at bad lessons. I mean, had I been instructed to use their examples as what not to do, if I'd have known that as a kid, I'd have been really well off. But I've got parents that are doing stuff, and I'm like, well, this is what you do. You know, you make friends, and then you rip them off. You know, you go out and you sell drugs to make money because, you know, God forbid you could go out and work. And yeah, there was a lot of reasons why my father, because of wounded knee, couldn't go out and just get a job somewhere. But he could, and he could do it and then just say, well, fuck you, you know, but he never did. He never just stuck to it. Well, occasionally he did. He stuck to a $5 an hour job for a couple of years when everybody else was making much better money. And he was university educated. And here he was mowing lawns and dumping trash cans at a trailer park. Not because he had to hide so much then, but because it was easy. You know, he could make just enough money to get by. and just enough money to buy a little dope, maybe sell a little. And then they had the weekends, and he would take my mother to Hollywood on the weekends, and she would work there, and he'd go out and he'd do deals at all the clubs, right? So, yeah. There were a lot of things that happened in my life that I was positive was not going to happen in my daughter's life. And I wasn't like that before I got married. Before I got married, I could just as easily have raised my kids just like my parents taught me, which would have sucked. Where are you? And that would have really, really sucked. Because there came a time in my life where I didn't want to be anything like my parents. And it was shortly after I got married. And I had to start making decisions as a husband and father. Not just a guy at work, not just a boss, not just an employer and supervisor and foreman and that kind of shit. I had to make real decisions that affected me. And that's when I had to look back, and anytime I was faced with making a decision, I would look back and think, okay, what would my parents do? And then I would literally do what would be the exact opposite of that, and then I would do that. All right? I never raised a hand to our daughter. Not one. I think once I smacked her on the butt like that and told her, that's going to hurt worse if you go over there. And she's like, okay. And from then on, that was it. I just have to tell her. I would just talk to her like an adult since she was a little girl. And she'd like, okay. And she'd get it. Whether she got it or not, she was thinking. And she did a lot of thinking. Before she even started talking, she didn't even start talking or walking until she was like 2. But once she did, she never stopped moving and she never stopped talking. She was reading and writing before she got to kindergarten. She was top of her class from the first day in school till now. She's still top on her class. You could talk to any of her instructors now at university, or any from college, or any from high school, or any from the 6th grade, or any from... And they'll all say, oh yeah, Natalie Mondre, she was the top of her class all the time. Top of her class, top of her class. She was the benchmark, right? Which I'm sure is why she had friends and lost friends. She would have friends and she would lose friends. She would have friends and she would lose friends. And I think early on, it was hard for her to figure out how to be the smart kid in class and how to have friends who weren't. And that doesn't mean as much when you're in high school, junior high and high school. That doesn't mean, well, it means a little bit more in junior high, but not so much in high school. It's like, you know, if you're smart and your friend's a frickin' donkey, then, you know, oh well, you know, that's your friend. But in grade school, you know, she's the teacher's pet. Oh, little Miss Four Eyes, got to get the good grades all the time. Yeah, I would imagine she probably got bullied and harassed a little bit. There were a few times when she was in junior high and high school where she was frustrated about having to keep her good grades. And I said, you know what, you never have to keep good grades. You just have to do the best you can. If you get a B or a C or a D or an F, I'm not going to love you any less, and you shouldn't love yourself any less. Just do the best you can, you know. We expect only the most that you expect out of yourself, and no more, no less, right? You do the best you can, you know. If you don't feel like doing your best, don't do your best. Slack off. It's okay. It's not going to kill you to take a day and say, I don't want to do it, you know. That's okay. And as much as we talk to her about that, she would never do that. She would never slack off. She'd never get a B. She'd never do, you know. I guess it's good and bad, you know. But for the most part, it's good. It's her abilities in school have served her well, and that's great because now it's actually paying off, not just in a good education, but in financial rewards. And if she can earn financial aid and grants and be able to pocket a lot of it and know that she did that, she earned that, well, that's work study. That's, she's learning how to earn money. She puts her head down and she bites her lip and she fights it. She does what she's got to do. It's not always easy for her. A lot of times she makes it seem easy, and that can frustrate her down the road because it's easy, and then there's a little bit of a stumbling block, and then she's like, right? Just like me. She gets really emotional about failure. So, yeah. Dope. 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 Dope.
The dope. He's the dope.
Dope. Dope, dopey, dope, dope. Dope, dope.
Dope. Dope. Dope. I am the dope one.
I'm just rebooting my comments here. I imagine that Joey is probably still at the DMV going, geez, I should have just gone to the one close to home. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. Now we got to drive all the way down to Palm Springs. We used to just go, 15 minutes down the road to 29 Palms. Now we got to go all the way down to Palm Springs, 45-minute drive. And then there's still no DMV to deal with. We got to go to AAA to do our DMV stuff. There's a couple of things that you can still do at the DMV. They got like one guy there or a robot or something. May I help you? Of course, even he's probably got an accent, right? May I help you? This is the California DMV. How may I serve you? Right? Right? I am Umbuana. How can I help you? All right, Umbuana. We do not do that at this facility. Please go to another facility. Please go online to do that. Jeez. Thanks a lot, Umbuana. Let's see. Let's check out what's in the box today. This is just a regular cardboard box because Flashback Friday is about my past. And my past has always been about cardboard boxes. I have lived in so many cardboard boxes, figuratively and literally, in my life. I've spent a lot of time in cardboard. Most of my stuff has gone into cardboard and I've never seen it again. So it's Flashback Friday, so we're going to do the Power Station. This is Robert Palmer, John Taylor, Tony Thompson, and Andy Taylor. The Duran Duran guys, am I correct? This is a phenomenal fucking album. Great music videos. What is this? 1983. Did I read that right? My eyes. 1985. Yeah, 1985. Fuck my eyes. All right, let's go over here to the old computer door, and let us take it and drop these screens down. Get online. We'll go to the YouTuber, and we will pump up this album here and pop it onto the onto our comments feed here. Why? Because I'm Sharon. My name is Sharon, and I ain't Farron. Yeah, oh, geez, now I got that little girl rapping on Lethal Weapon at the dinner table. I got her rapping going through my head now, damn it. Damn it! That's just ridiculous. Come on, boot. Give me the boot. Give me the boot. I do a little coffee, do a little weed. The Power Station. Oh, what a great fucking album. What a great fucking album. Power Station, full album. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Let me see somebody who's got the full album here. I like it when that happens, when somebody just puts the album on and hits record and takes the whole fucking thing, right? 16 videos, 15 videos, 16 videos, 11 videos. How many songs we got here? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not right. Some Like It Hot, Murderers, Lonely, Tonight, Communication, Bang a Gong, Get It On. So that's it. That's only 8 songs. That's it. So I'm not sure where we get 15 and 16 videos out of 8 songs. So here's one that says 8 videos. The Power Station album 1985. Let's see the full list. This person here is M. Lovers, LVRS. There you go. So I am going to grab this and copy the URL, if you will, and then go over to the live feed Rooney and pop in there and say, hey me, how's it going, me? What's going on, me? And let me pop this in here. Let me paste that and punch it up, and then do the Power Station 1985. That's right there. Whole album. There you go. And that there is what that is right there. Awesome. I have shared. Gosh, that was so fun. Whew, I'm kind of worked. I better take a break. Yeah, so I don't have anything to do today except try to get to the dentist this morning and see if they can polish the inside of my dentures so that I can start wearing them longer and more often. It's really become frustrating knowing that I have them and I just cannot fucking wear them. So I need to get them dealt with, however, if they have to send them in or whatever. But I need to get that over with. Tuesday we're going to, as it turns out, we're not going to Hollywood this time. We're going to Anaheim, right there at downtown Disney, to the House of Blues to see Mayday Parade. So that should be cool. I don't know if it's Mayday Parade or the Mayday Parade, but that'll be fun. I'm a little more excited about this, knowing that it's a little closer to home, and there's a good chance that I'll be able to get a seat, someplace to sit. My daughter will be front and center, going, yeah! But I'll be over along the back wall, passed out in a chair somewhere, going, yeah. Because I'm old. And lately I've been getting to sleep at like 8 or 9. Well, getting into bed at 8 or 9. And although I get up at 2 or 3 in the morning and can't sleep anymore, I do get to bed pretty early. And then, of course, I require naps. I require a nap during the middle of the day. So I'm not sure what's going to happen on Tuesday. I may get up and do a show and go back to sleep for a couple of hours. I may, which is probably the best thing to do, because I know that I won't be able to sleep in the morning past 2 or 3 in the morning anyway. So if I get up, do my show, and then eat and go back to sleep for a couple of hours, and then go take my daughter to school, pass out in the car for an hour, and then And then I should be pretty good to go for the night. All right, alert. Joey just got out of the DMV in Virginia. He's on his way home. He's on his way home. All right, so when you get home, all you got to do is call me on the, Facebook Messenger. And then when you do that, we can talk. So I'm going to hold off on the cigar box for a half an hour until Joey gets home, because that's kind of, it's kind of a fun thing. And if I can get Joey to call, don't be typing now while you're driving, then I think it'd be cool to have his input a little back and forth. I don't remember exactly what's in the box, what's in the cigar box, but we'll take a look together in about 40 minutes. So Joey's going to call in about 40 minutes. So we're hoping around 6 o'clock-ish. So 6:10, 6:15, something like that. We'll get a call from Joey, and we will check out what is in the cigar box. Don't worry, until then, we have a TV guide to look at, and we can do a little This Week in History. So I will pull up the old This Week in History page, and we'll see what the hell's going on. Why is Russell Brand in court? I don't know. Did he do something? Did he fuck it all up? Did he fuck it all up? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like totally. Let's see. On this day in history, let's see, in 1946, an attempted prison escape by 6 inmates at Alcatraz resulted in 2 days of violent fighting, which became known as the Battle of Alcatraz. Whoa. All right, here's a little bit of knowledge for you. Did you know, did you know, anyone listening out there, that a group of Native Americans overtook Alcatraz Island and held it for, oh God, over a year, I think if I'm correct. And we'll get into this someday, but I just want to let you know that yes, Native Americans took over Alcatraz and held it. Yeah. If you're watching out there, please get somebody to subscribe. Share this with people and get them to subscribe. I want to get up to 250 so we can do a marathon telethon thing this summer. It will include my daughter, my dogs, on occasion my wife's hand as she gives me something. Not my daughter physically. She will be here in video gaming, and she'll be on the couch out of camera. But I will have other special guests at some point that will show up during my live telethon. And I'm going to do it for multiple days this time. Last time I just did it for like several hours. I think this time we're going to go days. I think I'm going to do 12-hour blocks. I'm going to do 12 hours, and then I'm going to stop and start a new feed within 5 minutes so that I get 12-hour videos rather than 24-hour videos or something. I don't think you can do more than 12 hours anyway, but to me it seems reasonable that every 12 hours we just do it. Okay, here's the PM, here's the AM, or whatever. I will probably be doing the changing of the feeds, all right, at a specific time every day. I imagine it will be when I wake up in the morning, I will stop the overnight feed and start a new feed. And then at night, I will do an overnight feed where, okay, here's the late night feed, and it'll start in the middle of the evening. and go on until I wake up the next morning. I got a bong in here. I cannot ignore the bong. It gets mad when I ignore it. What was that? It's lonely without me. All right. This week in history, 1935, the peasants of Luzon, Philippines rose up in arms against oppressive land tenancy laws. Yeah, just like in Ireland, right? Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Here's an important one. The Negro National League, founded by Rube Foster, held its first game in the NNL, was considered the first successful professional baseball league for African Americans, and notable players included Cool Papa Bell and Satchel Paige. Ooh, that was 1920, this day in 1920. There you go. Yeah. Totally. And we got a bunch of births. You know, we don't care when people were born. We don't care when people were born. Let's see, what happened yesterday? What's a notable event in history yesterday? In history. 1971, Amtrak, the federally supported corporation that operates nearly all intercity passenger trains in the United States, begins service. Amtrak, 1971. In 1961, the first major plane hijacking within the United States occurred when a man forced a commercial airliner en route from Miami to Key West, Florida, to detour to Cuba. This day in 1960, while on reconnaissance flight deep inside the Soviet Union, a U.S. U-2 plane was shot down, and its pilot, Francis Gary Powers, who worked for the CIA, was taken prisoner. The resulting confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union became known as the U-2 incident. In 1941, Orson Welles' Citizen Kane, considered by many critics to be his greatest film ever made, premiered in New York City. In 1931, yesterday, in history, the Empire State Building was officially opened. And for 4 decades, it was the tallest building in the world. In 1924, yesterday in history, iodized salt first went on sale. Gosh, isn't that great? And in 1909, yesterday, May 1st, Kate Smith was born. Kate Smith. Good old Kate Smith, a Rooney Dooney. A Rooney Dooney. A Rooney Rooney. Aye, it's the Rooney. May 1st. And the 30th. What are we looking at? The 30th. April 30th. In history. April 30th, 1989, April 30th. Italian director Sergio Leone, who popularized the spaghetti western with his highly successful Dollar trilogy, which included the masterpiece The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from 1966. Sergio Leone died at age 60. April 30th, 1989. April 30th, in 1975, the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon fell to North Vietnamese troops during the Vietnam War. That was the fall of Saigon. April 30th, that would have been Tuesday, right? Jeez, I think that was a Wednesday. See, I'm all screwed up. 1945, April 30th, German dictator Adolf Hitler and his wife Eva Braun committed suicide in a bunker in Berlin. And in 1939, the National Broadcasting Company made the first public television broadcast in the United States at the New York World's Fair on April 30th, 1939. All right, and my most favorite here, in 1933, on April 30th, American country singer and songwriter Willie Nelson was born. And let's do Monday. Let's do what happened Monday, April 29th, in history. And we're just doing the 80s and back. I'm not getting busy with all this other shit. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld was born in 1954 in Brooklyn, New York, on the 29th. And in 1945, the U.S. 7th Army liberated tens of thousands of inmates at the Nazi concentration camps in Dachau, Germany. 1945, April 29th. And that is what is happening this week in History. History, oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, what was weird yesterday is after the show, the trash man came and made the trash truck sounds. And I was like, oh, man. I really like those trash truck sounds to happen during my show because I love live. Live is cool. And that's one of the things that screams this is happening live in somebody's home is the dog barking and a trash truck moving and my chair squeaking and me getting up to get coffee all the time. Totally. Oh yeah. Can you hear the birds? I don't know if you can hear the birds. I think you can. Of course, now they're quiet. Come on, birds. Say something. I've got a nest right outside this window. There was an air conditioner. This air conditioner was here. Actually, no, it was a swamp cooler. We had a swamp cooler here, and there was a little nest built up in the swamp cooler up high, and we removed the swamp cooler, and I couldn't just get rid of the nest, so I built a little house, a little pocket house, and attached it to the wall, and then before I removed the swamp cooler, I scooped up the nest and put it in there. And it worked because they've come back ever since. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've got this little nest right outside my window here. So you can hear them hanging out in the nest. The little babies are always chirping. They like to come and land on the outside of the air conditioner, and you can hear their little feet ticky-tacking. So that's pretty cool. That's cool stuff right there, buddy. That's really cool stuff. Yeah, I gotta boot that back up to there. Yeah, tickety-tack, 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 tickety-tack. Tickety-tack, tickety-tack. Tickety-tackety, tickety-tackety, tickety-tackety. Anyways, let's take a look at this old TV guide here. In a second, I gotta drink some of this coffee while it's hot. I just got it hot, so I need to drink it. And then you know what that means. I gotta do like a bong hit, you know, because you know, like totally makes me feel better, you know. Yeah, seriously, people. For some people shouldn't smoke. Most people nowadays, if you haven't smoked, don't smoke. But for some people, like myself, if it wasn't for pot, I never would have had friends as a teenager. I never would have been able to hold a job at any point in my life. I never would have had a life. I never would have had a wife. I never would have had a daughter. There's a lot of things that I never would have done, and I honestly can say I never would have done these things because I could never get out of my own fucking head. So, and as much as I tried, dozens of times to not be that stereotypical pothead, I just decided, you know what? I'm not a stereotypical pothead. I smoke a lot of pot, but I don't subscribe to that, stoner loser, never gets anything done, has a horrible life, because my life is beautiful. My life is beautiful, and never would have gotten this way. And I didn't really find that out until I got injured at work and had to get off of pain pills. And I went back to smoking pot full time, gave up cigarettes and just saying, I'm going to do that. And then I realized, what I had been missing. I had been missing living life. I mean, I had to take antidepressants and shit for 10 years because I wasn't smoking a lot of pot. I'd smoke it occasionally, but I was trying to avoid that whole, oh man, he's a pothead type person. And I just finally said, fuck it, People, and that's one of my downfalls, that I always worried about what people were saying about me. As much as I wanted to claim, I didn't give a shit. Fuck them. It still hurts when people talk shit about you. It does. So, yeah. I got to the point where it's like, fuck it. Let them think I'm a pothead. I know I'm not. I know I just, pot, you get used, man. Drugs use you. It's like, okay, whatever. Other people have other ways at looking at marijuana. You got all these people that talk about drug abuse and smoking too much pot and it leads to other drugs, a gateway drug and that kind of stuff. But then they'll puff on their cigarettes and their vapes and drink their booze and their cocktails and their beers or whatever. And as far as I'm concerned, you do what you want to do. It's your life. Do something or don't do it. I don't care. But afford me the same respect. Allow me to do with my life whatever the fuck I want, because it's my life. And not to look down on me because I'm not living my life the way you think that I should live my life, right? And I've had to deal with so many people like that, right, in my life. Usually employers, usually authority figures, on occasion a family member, where you're just not living your life correctly. So you get judged, right? And I don't think that anyone has, just like no one has the right to touch anyone physically, nobody has the right to fucking judge anyone. How can you judge someone and their actions when you're not them? You weren't raised the way they were. You don't know things the way they do. You don't think the way they do. So why should they have to be like you, right? Why should people make decisions your way? That's just stupid. Yeah. And then to judge people, to sit in judgment over people, a Karen-esque move. Jeez. So, yeah, I've been looked at. I've been sneered at, looked down, looked up at people's noses as they look down at me. Have had to go through the bullshit because I don't fit in. Even with my own people, I never fit in, right? Friends and family and stuff, I never fit in. They was always looking at me like, man, this guy is weird. I mean, he's really fucking weird. On occasion, I was accepted. But usually for a period of time. I was never always accepted 100% no matter what. forever by anyone except for my wife and daughter. That's it. They're the only two people who have ever accepted me completely 100% for the rest of my life, no matter what goes on. Unconditionally. I used to get that unconditional love bullshit from my parents, but it was bullshit. It was the stuff that they would say, that you would say to your kids after you've like been put your kids through just horrible shit, right? And then you want to make them think that they don't have any reason to go to the authorities and turn their fucking ass in, right? So they, you know, my love is unconditional, and I just so that they would try to convince you that love is unconditional, so that you'd look at them the same way. No matter what you do to me, I'm still gonna love. Bullshit. I try not. I'm trying real hard now to not use the word hate. I'm trying to exchange that for dislike, because the overtones of hate. There's not a lot I hate. There's a lot I dislike. I love people and dislike them. Hate is too strong of a word. Yeah, there are people out there that I love, friends and family, but I don't like them much, right? They haven't really given me any reason to like them. So there you go. So I just, and then there are some that I don't exactly dislike. I just don't like them that much. You know, there's just nothing there. You know, and that's probably the majority of people I know, or people who think they know me. There's just nothing there. You know, there's never been enough back and forth. And with a lot of people, it's like yoo-hoo, 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 and I'm tired of doing the dance, and I just say, fuck it. They're not going to get back to me. If they're going to get back to me in one-word sentences and say I'm busy every time then fuck it, you know. What's the point, you know? And then there are some people that I just don't return messages to, because I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. So then am I doing what they're doing? I don't know. I guess so. So, oh well, you know, sometimes the past just falls flat in the present, you know, and you just have to rely on the past for good feelings. Period. Period. Oops. Let me, well, let's see. Well, it's probably about 15 or 20 minutes before we're going to get a call from Joey, so I think we should at least switch over to Facebook Messenger so we can get his call. So there's these these girls on Facebook, and it's called Hippie Chick, one word. Hippie Chick, one word. It's a community page, and basically it looks like a bunch of tattooed and untattooed hippie chicks of varying sizes, shapes, colors, ethnicities, what have you. But the reason I started following this particular page, Hippie Chick, on Facebook, was because they were hippie chicks, and I hadn't really, give me a break. Because I hadn't really seen any girls like this since the Grateful Dead shows and the Renaissance Fair, and I have been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead shows lately, so I'm like, wow. So it keeps like pulling me back. One of the few things that I can find today that really, really takes me to the past, something of today, and those hippies running around in drum circles and dancing and doing all their weird stuff, you know, that takes me back to the 90s, pretty much. But it doesn't take me back any further than that. That kind of hippie is like a 90s, it's kind of retro 90s type hippie. The hippies I'm used to are like true hippies from the 60s and the 70s. 60s and 70s hippies living in the 70s and 80s. That's what I'm used to. True, honest-to-goodness hippies. Yeah, growing up in Sierra Madre Canyon in the 1970s, in Hollywood, in Southern California, it was all about hippies, counterculture, you know. Yeah, totally. All right, so I got Facebook over there booted up. I got the sound on so we can hear the ring when it comes in, and then we'll let's see. I will try to right now. I am going to go to get rid of that. I'm going to bring up my messages right now, and I am going to get a little something that Joey sent me. Ah, here we go. Oh man, why did I do that? I pushed an arrow and it took me down. Took me down. I should click on it and then hit the down arrow, which will download it. There we go. Yeah. And then we're going to get rid of that. We're going to go to downloads. And we're going to get that download. Come on. All right. I know this is. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna friggin' do? The loads. Here are the loads. Get the loads. Take the loads. Where's the morning show? Morning show. I work on 2 different computers, and I've got icons and stuff set in different areas. So let's see. Let's take this, move this over. Let's bring this and put this here in the morning show area. Get rid of that one. Okay. Let's close that. Oh, I didn't want to. Oh, and I closed it. Ah, bummer. That's just a bummer. It's totally a bummer, man. I am going to open this back up. And go back to the morning. Go back to the morning show. Gotta go back to the morning show here. Season 4 morning show. There we go. Alright. Yeah. Let's open up that one. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We can open, well, we got the morning. And let's open the morning show here. And let's move it from this morning show over to this morning show as well. So then we just have it in one spot. And let's open it up, see what she looks like. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're going to drop that down and bring this guy back up. And, yeah. It's very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Very, very, very. Totally. I'm just like, wow. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to read from this TV guide here. It's just about Joey time. Here's something cool. I was getting out of bed and making coffee and waking up this morning at around 4:20, 4:30. And from my daughter's room, I could hear the sound of video games or a movie or something happening. And then I was like, right on. She's de-stressing, she's getting it out, which means she's going to sleep in good, and she's going to get up. And basically, she does better overnight when there's no distractions. So if she's going to stay up late and then sleep in, I imagine that what she's going to do is she's going to set herself up to get up today, have dinner with us, breakfast for her, and then we'll be nodding off to sleep within a couple of hours of her getting up. And then she'll have a whole quiet house to herself to get her done. I think today she said yesterday she was going to work on something, and today she was going to try to work on a couple of things and try to get it as much done as possible by the end of Sunday, so that she doesn't have to do too much on Monday or Tuesday, because Tuesday we're going out to Anaheim to the House of Blues. I've never been there before. I've been to it, but not in it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna load a bong hit because it's what I do in the morning, and I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling pretty good. I like this tropical trance pot. It's really, really good. The buds are really heavy and dense. Well, light and dense. They're hard, but it crumbles up perfectly. It doesn't crumble up to dust. It crumbles up to nice crumbs, and it tastes real good. Smokes real good. Doesn't gag the hell out of me. I get a little gaggage, but I mean, it just, yeah, it really helps me to set the mood. I still haven't found something to help me with my appetite. I'm still only eating a couple of times a day, which sucks. But I just, my daughter and wife are instructed to make sure that I eat, because I told them, listen, I just don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. So I'm like, just make sure that if you're eating something, ask me if I've eaten recently. That's it. When was the last time you ate? That's all you need to do. Because I won't be thinking about it. I'll be doing my own thing. I will be thinking about trying not to think about food. So I put it out of my head because I don't eat a lot now, so I don't want to think about eating. So therefore it leads to eating even less. So I'll do my cereal this morning, and it's just cream of wheat, but I add a cereal bar to it to give it some more nutrition, and a little juice, and then do a nutritional drink, and then do some beans for lunch, and then whatever for dinner, chili or beans or any soup, some kind of soup or something easy to eat. And that's pretty much it. That and a little cake and milk at the end of the night. I should probably eat more, but I just don't give a fuck. I just don't. Food just is not that appealing to me. At this point, I can barely get through my cup of coffee anymore. I get through about half of it by the end of the show, and then it's just done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I move on. Move on. Move the fuck on, dude. It's 6 a.m. It is 6 in the a.m. here on the Pacific coast of these here western United States. It is May 2nd, 2025. It's a Friday. It's a Friday, so it's time to say, what's up? Adios. So I went by the old dealer, right? He lives in the canyon, man. And what did I get from the dealer? I picked up a lid. There we go. And let me get my cigar box out while I'm up. And Coronas. There you go. There you go. There you have it. There it is. I'm going to do a little straightening here. A little cleaning of the house. Well, there you go. This is my weekly schedule for the morning show. This tells me what I'm going to be doing from day to day. It gives me the albums over here, reminds me to talk about TV guides, and then I can kind of put in here what we're talking about. Here's Monday, Star Wars, Hobo at the end of the line, that kind of stuff. So there's that. And then here is the stuff on my desk today. And yeah, so we don't want to get into that yet. Yes. Ha. All right, while we're waiting for Joey to call, we are going to read from this TV guide, Friday. Fried egg. Here we go. Friday morning, Friday afternoon. I'm going to do a bong hit first. You guys should have expected that, huh? You should have expected that. I'm telling you, man. I love George Kennedy. He is one of my favorite all-time character actors. Actor. He's just... everything he did was just so bitchin'. I loved him as an observer during the war games in the movie The Dirty Dozen. He's so funny in that. You know, where he falls off the truck and he comes running into the tent at the end of the thing where the guys come in and they take over the command of the opposite team in the war games. And just the look on his face when he stumbles in to catch the looks on their faces, you know, and it's just hilarious. And everything that he's done, all the airport movies, he was in every one of the airport movies. The Naked Gun series, hilarious in that. He just done so much great work. I love George Kennedy. Bong hit. I love TV guides. TV guides were so awesome. All right, Hollywood Squares at 10:30 a.m. Bernadette Peters, Tony Randall, Wayne Rogers, Glenn Campbell, John Davidson. How do you tell them apart? Phyllis Diller, Lisa Gerritsen, George Gobel, and Paul Lynde. I love that show. As usual at noon, Mary Hartman. In the afternoon, Not for Women Only, Social Security conclusion of a discussion with Hugh Downs. Captain Kangaroo at 4 p.m. Hogan's Heroes, Mr. Rogers, Phil Donahue. There's all kinds of soap operas starting late in the morning and going on all day long. Life of Love starts at 10:30. That pretty much kicks off the soap opera. And then there is Young and the Restless, Search for Tomorrow. I won't give you the times. Edge of Night, Somerset, Mary Hartman. Days of Our Lives, All My Children, As the World Turns, Ryan's Hope, Doctors, Guiding Light, Another World, One Life to Live, again, I guess, General Hospital, right up until 3:30, and then 4 o'clock we're done with soap operas. Because by then the kids are home. By 3:30 the kids are home, and it's time for kid shows, right? Also on Friday, May 7th, 1976, Family Affair at 4:30. Yay. Buffy and Jody. I did not like that show. I liked the actors in the show, but I didn't like the show. Star Trek at 5. Let's see, at 6 we start news. Harry Reasoner, Cronkite, Chancellor, another John Chancellor, Walter Cronkite. Yeah, Space 1999 at 7 o'clock. I would have been watching that one, but going, what the hell is this show all about? I liked that show because of the models and the space sets that they used. It was really realistic for the time, and I really loved looking at it. All right, prime time, 7:30, Hollywood Squares. William Conrad, Elkie Summer, Rob Reiner, Arthur Godfrey, Connie Stevens, Florence Henderson, Doc Severson, George Goebel, Paul Lynde, Peter Marshall is the host. Wow. All right, 8 o'clock, prime time, Friday, May 7th, 1976, is the Donnie Marie Variety Show. Andy Williams and Jimmy Walker are the guests. Wow. Also at 8 p.m., prime time, Sanford and Son. Washington Week in Review. Sarah, which is a 60-minute drama. And then a crime drama, The Anderson Tapes. Ooh, that is a movie. Totally. At 8:30, The Practice, a comedy starring Victor Buono, David Spielberg, Shelley Fabre, Dina Dietrich. Yeah, just a bunch of people I never really cared to think about. Wall Street Week, come on. At 9 p.m., a movie, Hard Driver, with Jeff Bridges and Valerie Perrine. Nice. And also at 9, Rockford Files, Masterpiece Theater, and another drama 2-hour movie, Queen of the Stardust Ballroom. Yay. At 10 o'clock, we have Police Story, and that is the Angie Dickinson. No, that's not. That's Tony LoBianco. And then Nova. Love American Style at 10. Dick Van Dyke at 10:30. The Rookies at 11 after a bunch of news programs. The Best of Groucho, black and white, at 11 o'clock. That's cool. Biography, that was always a great program on PBS. Johnny Carson, 11:30. Jack Anderson, comedian Bob and Ray. Yeah, Ed McMahon, that's it. Harry Reasoner news, the 11:30 news there. The Story of Pretty Boy Floyd, Martin Sheen. And then the late night version of Mary Hartman. At 1, Midnight Special. Tom Jones is the guest host. Chuck Berry and the Kiki D Band perform. Wow. That's heavy. That was from December 1974, that program. And that takes us to 2:30 with news and sign off. And that's that, baby. That does the TV guide here for this week. And we'll pull out another TV guide for next week and see what we get. Next week we're going to get Columbo. Hey, he's back. Well, as you could hear, that's Joey on the computer there saying that he's back. So I'm imagining that he is ready to go whenever he feels like he's had enough time to get home and take care of business. If you got to use the John, then do it. Otherwise, give me a call when you're ready, and I'll punch you up on the computer here, and we will say, "What's up? What's up?" Totally. All right, I got to get another bong hit going here. I'm starting to get nervous. I might have a house guest, so I'm getting nervous. So I got a cigar box here. I don't recall what's in this cigar box, but it sits here in front of me, and I'm ready to open up and poke through it. And then, yeah, we'll talk Conspiracy Corner, and we'll look through the cigar box full of stuff with Joey. And I will punch up an image that he gave to me to represent his being, and there he is. And let me answer this, and there's that. And we should have Joey on the line any second. Are you there? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, there he is. Great. Let me bring up your image. Hey, there we go. How's that? There we go. Let me do that. And then I will do I'll do this. Hey, there's Joey. Check that out. That's cool. So I'm talking to Joey here. And we're going to open up the cigar box. Have you been following along in the car? Do you know what's been going on?
No.
No? Okay. Well, I was standing on my head and pissing in my mouth while you were gone. It was awesome. You should have been here. I have to rewind it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. I had a little burst of Madonna in me, and I thought, you know what? Urine? I'm thirsty? What the hell? I can't believe that Madonna drinks her own pee. And the fact that she spits at people in her concerts. She kind of throws me off. What a skaggy old broad.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So we went through This Week in History, and we read from the TV Guide, the almighty TV Guide. It's my Bible. And then, let's see, let's take a look at what we got here on the old Descarino here. I went ahead and I picked up a lid from 1973. In 1973, or sometime in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, this is how you got your marijuana. You got your marijuana in a paper lunch bag, and it was wrapped up with a rubber band and a pack of papers stuffed into it. For $10, you'd get a lid. This was what was called a lid. It was about an ounce or so, right? So my father would go to a friend's house and come back with one of these when he needed some weed. That wasn't usually the case. Usually in our house, there was more than enough marijuana. I remember in the 70s, there was a wall of marijuana kilo bricks behind a curtain in our living room. And there was this big curtain that covered a wall. And you could open up this curtain, and it was just stacks of kilo bricks of marijuana that they had brought back from Mexico in a motorhome borrowed from another guy that they would get pot for. I mean, it was just crazy. It was weird. It was a weird childhood growing up. So on that note, I'm going to do a bong hit. And there you go. So how'd it go at the DMV, Joey?
Oh, it was nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty quick.
All right. What did you have to do?
I just had to get my real ID.
Oh.
So I can fly.
So you can...
They also renewed my license for me, which was nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
It was very quick.
You get a double whammy there.
Yeah, and they were friendly. Took like
wait,
10-15 minutes.
Wait, friendly?
Yeah.
At the DMV?
Yeah, that's why I went to.
That's why you went out of town. I ain't going to my own DMV. Fuck that.
I even told them that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they asked me like, "Why'd you go so far?" I'm like, "The DMV by my house sucks." Yeah, they just laughed.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Well, you know, honesty can sometimes be nice. Of course, You don't want to be at the other DMV and say, this place sucks. Because you'd probably be there longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got this, are you following along? You got a picture? Can you see what's going on?
Yeah, I got you playing on my TV.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to open up this box here of, let's see, that doesn't need to be in there. Let me get rid of this envelope. I'm going to open this box of, and for you, for those of you who have just joined us, we've got Joey here on the line here, and he's hanging out as we're going to look through this. We're going to look through this cigar box, and we're going to talk Conspiracy Corner, because we got nothing else to do, and I'm old and I like to talk shit, so there you go. All right, I am going to take this cigar box that I have here, and it's nothing that I've had for a long time. A couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, I put it together because I had watched the movie Paper Moon with Tatum O'Neal and Father Ryan O'Neal. And in it, she has a cigar box where she keeps all her most prized possessions. And I thought, gosh, it'd be cool to have my own little box. So I looked at her box, and I tried to mirror some of the stuff that she had in there. So we'll open it up and see what we got in here. Well, first, we got a box of secrets. All right, and these are throat lozenges. This box here, I believe, is from the 1970s. It does not have any throat lozenges. It has probably been used as a stash box by adults or kids. And then here's something that Joey might like. Here's some Japanese matches. See if we can get those up here and get a good picture of them. There we go. So these are some Japanese matches. And it's got some cool stuff on there. I'm horrible at trying to get it in front of the key. You go one way and you're supposed to be going the other way. But these are some pretty cool little matches, and I thought, you know, and they're really, really nice ones too. I thought, what the hell? Here's my Kennedy watch. This is my John F. Kennedy coin watch. It was working. I just got a new band on it, and it was working fine, but the battery died on it. So now I got to take it and get a new battery for it. In Addie Prey's box in the movie, she had a spoon in there, a little spoon. So I threw one of our little spoons in there. This is a Princess House dessert spoon. And I thought this one was cute, so I threw it in there. Isn't that nice? Another pack of matches. This one from Caro's Restaurant. Another place from the 60s and 70s. A pack of Pall Malls. I have been wanting to smoke a cigarette for so long now, and now I got a pack of Pall Malls. These are probably pretty old and crusty. I've had them for a couple of years. You can't go anywhere without a pair of round sunglasses. I used to wear these all the time. Very cool stuff. Okay, this is pretty cool. So these are dog licenses from 1972 and 73, I believe, for the Sierra Madre Canyon, for Sierra Madre, California, which is where I lived in 1972 to 74. And I thought, wow, that is really, really neat. And I believe I got these online. I actually found them online and ordered them because they were from that little tiny little place where I used to live. And wow. Yeah. Very cool. Let's see. Oh, a pocket knife. Here's a rubber band stuck to it. This is a pocket knife. Every kid had a pocket knife. This one is very sharp and very dangerous, so I keep it closed. But that's my cool little pocket knife. I like that. Knives, having a little knife like that makes me feel like a kid. And she had a little bit of jewelry in her box. So I threw in some of these things. This is one that my daughter made for me. She likes to make these little things and trade them and give them to people. And then this one I got from a guy in Vegas, one of those guys posing as a Buddhist monk, you know. They look a little Asian, so they put on an orange robe and go around and pass out necklaces and then say, "Give me money." Literally, the guy, he gave it to me, and he's like, no. You're going to give me money back for this. And I'm like, what? So I gave him a couple of bucks, and he was like upset because I didn't give him enough, and I just walked. But I kept the fucking things because he gave them to me, and I gave him a couple of bucks. So there you go. This is a pack of 7-Up matches from the 70s here. There you go. Yeah. Totally. Let's see here. Smuggler's Inn, which is probably a restaurant, bar, and grill. Totally. Gonna drink a little bit of coffee. Oh, that's cold. Pack of zigzags. We got a pack of zigzags. These are 1970s zigzags. I seem to have used these up here, so it's almost empty. What else do we got? Okay, so we've got some poker chips. Some poker chips here. We got 3 poker chips. We got 10 cents, and then we got 2 50-cent poker chips. And these are not all the poker chips that I have of the Sahara Dunes, Lake Elsinore, Sahara Dunes Casino. It says Sahara Dunes on this one, but if you look at this one, where is it? Let's get a good shot. There it is. Sahara Dunes, Elsinore, because we had our own casino. This is a place where they held the MTV party back in the 80s. So I've got some of those. Yes, I purchased those specifically because they're from my history. Here's something really cool. Here is a pack of California Club Los Angeles edition playing cards. And it's a full deck, and they're in excellent, like, mint condition. I have used them to play solitaire, so I keep them in this box here. It comes in a great hard case here. I keep them in my little cigar box because Addie had a deck of cards, and she would play solitaire. I got some coinage here. I've got a 1972 and 1976 bicentennial. All right, and these are $1. These are dollars. So that's 2 $1 coins there. I've also got, because Addie Prey, she had a bunch of little odd coins. And when I say Addie Prey, from the movie Paper Moon, have you seen that movie?
No.
No? Okay. Well, I'll try to remember before I go, and I'll post a link. The movie Paper Moon, it's a great fucking movie. It's made in the 70s, about the 20s, or 20s or 30s, right around the Great Depression. It was during the Depression, and it's just a fantastic movie. And she had a bunch of stuff in her box. So I've got some quarters. I've got some Canadian coins. I've got an old United States of America wheat back from 1910. All right. And I've got so many old coins, actually. I had to get a coin book. And then this one here.
I have a few old coins.
Oh, right on. This is another one from I don't have my glasses on, 19 something. But it is the same, as the other one. It's got the V on the back. And then we got another one here. And this one is from 1900. So this is a coin from 1900. That's pretty old. I mean, I've got a few old things, but that's got to be one of the oldest things that I have in my possession. And then we've got a 10 pence here from 2013. It's some kind of it's either Canadian or fucking Egyptian for all I know. And then a quarter that's a 1976 bicentennial. We've got a couple of $2 bills. I love $2 bills. These are These are brand new $2 bills. A lot of people, when you try to take these in and spend them, and you got these people that are really young, and they're like, yeah, right, give me some money. Don't give me this bullshit. And they have to go to an adult supervisor, somebody that's older than 30, and go and say, what's this? And they'll go, it's a $2 bill. What? Yeah, the government makes $2 bills. And they're like, bullshit. Yes. Now, if you ever see a $3 bill, buy it. Because those are really rare.
For how much?
Yeah. Oh, geez, at least $5.
All right.
Yeah. No. There's no such thing as a $3 bill.
Yeah, I know.
Right. But there's a lot of people out there going, dude, is that a deal? $5? Yeah, it's a deal, man. All right. So of course, we've got a few pictures. So this picture here is from 1977. And that is my sister, our dog,
Buster.
Yeah, I was going to say Buster, but I think this is post-Buster.
Sparky.
Yeah, something weird. And there's my brother, Robert. And then, let me get a little, there we go. And there's me wearing another numbered shirt. The lowest in the order. Lower than the dog. The dog actually survived a car accident with my father. Right around this time period, my father got into a horrible motorcycle accident, almost lost his arm. And then while in a car that he bought with some of the settlement money, no more than a month later, he got into another accident in the same spot, same conditions, and fucked himself up again. And the dog was in the car at this point and flew from the back seat through the passenger seat, knocked the passenger seat down, and dented the hell out of the dashboard and jumped out a broken window and took off. And short story is my father went back to the scene after he had blood squirting out of everything, and his chin was just sliced open. And he's calling for this dog. He got a cab back from the hospital afterwards and found the dog and then got a ride home. So that was 1977. This is from 1975, I want to say. 75, probably, yeah, about 75. Living up in Woodland Hills, California. These are a couple of the neighbor kids that we used to hang out with. And they were a couple of cool dudes. We used to play Hot Wheels with them. This photo is of looking out of our motorhome in 1973. In front of us is a police car. Behind us is a police car and an APC. And they're escorting us from a landmark in Wounded Knee, South Dakota, to Rapid City or Pine Ridge, to the police station to put us under house arrest until my father shows up. So this is us being escorted there. Man, what good times, huh? Okay, so this one here this is the Highway 15 here in Southern California, and this is it under construction between Rainbow, California and Bonsall, California, and that is a Caltrans truck. And this is the highway before it opens, and I'm sure they probably decided, well, let's shoot some episodes of Chips here, right? Because that's what they did. Here is a view out of the car, pardon me, looking out over Lake Elsinore, California from the Ortega Highway, looking down just to the right of the antenna where the lake kind of elbows there. That's where we used to live, right there on the lake. So that was pretty cool. And then, of course, a poster of Led Zeppelin, which is this poster used to hang on my brother's wall in 1979. So there's that. And that concludes everything in my cigar box. What do you think, Joey? Am I a kook or what?
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He's like, I put him to sleep already. Oh, what about these Japanese matches? I thought those were pretty fucking cool. I like those.
Yeah, they're cool.
I got a lot of weird out of out of the ordinary artifacts for a guy like me. I mean, I just pretty much collect anything, like these 1900s coins. Are they dimes? It's a V. Does that mean that it's a nickel? V for 5? Yeah, it just doesn't, it just cents. Cents, 5 cents. Cents. Yeah, so the V means 5, and right below that it says cents. So this is a nickel from back in 125 years ago. That's crazy. That is crazy. I used to work at the Sahara Dunes Casino when I was 15 years old. I worked the graveyard shift, which I should not have been because I was 15. But they didn't know that because I looked older. I mean, I had a freaking mustache, for Christ's sake. So, yeah, I got in trouble for that. They should have gotten in trouble, but they made it my fault so that they wouldn't get in trouble, which was, you know, that's what people of authority do. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And they also won't admit to something, you know, like missing people. Let's segue into Conspiracy Corner and missing persons. There are a lot of people all over the world that go missing. Is it, you know, is it like human trafficking? Is it, I'm sure a lot of it are just individuals who are just evil and just kind of gobble people up. Maybe actually do eat them. Who knows, right? Wow, there's something to think about. My theory is that most of the missing persons on the planet are just food to keep the overlords at bay, right? Because there's a few of them here that live on the planet, and our alien overlords need to be fed. So they go out and you know, we got a government organization that goes out and scoops up people and feeds them to these bastards. And at some point, they're going to come back around, all of them. They're going to show up, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them are going to show up, and it's going to be a fucking feeding frenzy. It's going to be like chumming the water and seeing the sharks just go crazy, man. It's going to be whacked. And I think that at some point we're going to have to pay. Just like there's one species of alien overlords that came around a decade ago to collect gold. Remember when the government was buying up gold, give us gold, and everybody was just, bring us your gold. And everything was, all the commercials were about buying up gold and bring your gold into the jewelry places and we'll give you top dollar. And it's like, why all of a sudden do we want to just buy up all of the gold, right? Why does the government need to, and basically what it is that one alien species needs gold, and this is one of the few places in this part of the universe where it can be gotten easily. And there's already slaves on the planet that are just sucking it out of the earth because they love it. It's pretty. It's in our genes. It's in our DNA. We were genetically programmed to want gold and to dig it out of the ground. And why do you think people wear jewelry and gold? You know, it's part of the slave genetic programming. And we all have it. For the most part, it's gold and gems and that kind of stuff. But it's also just, it translates nowadays. It just translates into buying a lot of stuff and working a lot, working and buying and working and buying and working and buying. And that's where we got the modern slavery going on. And I think that it has a lot to do with our alien overlords that are, at some point, they're going to come around and they're going to want to collect. And it depends on which species of alien overlord is coming around to collect, is going to determine what it is we're going to be giving up, right? And we've been giving up a lot of people lately. A lot of missing people. We also we also give a lot of people up to war. Warring nations. Death. There's definitely a species that doesn't just feed on humans, all right, but it's a species that doesn't feed on human flesh. It feeds on the human energy released when they die, right? So therefore, if it's like a 1,000 people all die at once, you know, you can damn well be sure that there's a lot of aliens around somewhere sucking up all that energy because they want it. They want it. It's released. Because when we die, our energy is released back into the universe, and they gobble it up, man. Sometimes they actually cause the deaths so they can gobble up our energy. Right? Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, this is the real deal, man. It's really happening. It's going on all around us. You know, I mean, look at the way governments are run. Look at the way giant, huge corporations are run with so much deception aimed at us. You know, just trying to get us to stay in line, to stay working, and to stay buying, right? They don't even care about what they used to care about, you know, the family, the family core, you know. They wanted us to just be breeding, have big families and breed like, why? Why would it go on like that for decade after decade after decade after we know that it's bad for the planet? Why would we continue to do that? Because we're building up the food supply. That's it. And they're going to come around at some. They've already started coming around. You know, a little earthquake here, a little typhoon here. Boom. They're gobbling up energy. They're gobbling up bodies. You know, when an earthquake happens, how many people are left in a building that they never find, right? They're just so disintegrated, they never find any parts of them, right? Well, why would they have to be maybe they were removed before, just as the building was falling. They were zapped out of there and thrown into a holding cell until the aliens put their bibs on and sat down with their knife and fork and said, yum, right? It could happen. It could happen. There's a lot of things that go on where bodies just go missing. They're just gone, completely gone. You know, explain. You know, somebody please explain where all of these humans are going. They can't. The explanation is they're being taken and they're being eaten. They don't need to take us and put us other places as slaves yet. They will soon. When this planet starts to die a horrible death because of the overmining and the pollution and the overpopulation and destroying the planet, it's going to be useless for us slaves to be here any longer. So they're going to take a bunch of us, and maybe they already have started, and they're just going to dump us on another world, and they're going to leave orders, and 1,000 years from then, those people are going to have religions about how the universe started and about how God and Adam and Eve and the first and all of this, and that's how it's going to start over and over and over again. And it'll just be another planet somewhere, you know. There's doofuses now that are trying here on this planet to do something similar to that, right? But these are the people who are uninvolved. They're just the wealthy, even like the Musks and the Bezos and those types of guys. They're still nothing compared to the overlords, the human overlords that are working with the alien overlords. Because the human overlords, many of them have been on this planet alive for hundreds of years, possibly thousands of years, right? It's only worked into our DNA that we live short lives, right? if it wasn't for the genetic codes that they've written into our DNA, we would live on indefinitely as long as we don't get sick or, get too badly injured or, some other thing. If you look at and a lot of people do, look at the Bible as historical text. Well, you got guys in the Bible that were living hundreds of years, right? And then all of a sudden that changed. You look in the Bible, and then people are like, yeah, the Bible is true, the Bible is real. Well, then you must believe in giants, and you must believe in fairies and angels and all this other shit, too, because aliens are in the fucking Bible. Read Ezekiel. I mean, there's so much shit going on, and early man tried to explain it, but they couldn't, But I think that it goes back thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of years. People talk about it like a reset, but I don't think it's like it is kind of a reset, but it happens like every couple thousand years, where they just nuke the planet, get rid of all technology, wipe out all of civilization except for a few little spread out areas. And then I think that the different species of aliens actually step in and say, we're going to inject our DNA into these guys, and we're going to do these guys, and you guys can have those guys, and we'll give these guys to those guys. And then that's why we get so many different varying races on the planet, is that at one point we were just a petri dish, and every alien in town was chucking their DNA into the bowl to see in what race would spring up, and I think now that they've had us here so long, mining this planet over and over and over again through so many resets that happen like every 5,000 years, let's say, and then new religions are formed, new civilizations evolve, a new race will take over as the most dominant race on the planet, right? And I think it just happens and happens and happens. And it's going to happen until the planet is pretty much all used up. And then they're going to take a handful of us and dump us on another world, leave a lot of us here to just fucking die, and then eat a bunch of us, right? That's what I think is going on. And it's that's just a conspiracy theory. What do you think, Joey? I think you're
onto something.
Yeah, right. Could be. All right, whistle for a minute while I go. Gotta take my headphones off. I'm gonna go heat up my coffee. So you're in charge, Joey. You have to entertain the masses. So, oh wait, I know what I got to do.
There's no one watching.
While I'm gone, I'll leave this. So, yeah, there you go. I can't hear you, but I'm here. All right, I'm back. Did you sing a song while I was gone?
No.
Oh, man. Did you hear me while I was gone?
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, so you heard the theme to Jeopardy?
Yeah.
All right. I got my
microwave.
Yeah, I got my microwave turned up, or my microphone turned up pretty loud.
You got your microwave turned up loud?
Yeah, I got it turned up loud so I can really cook that food fast. Oh,
wake everyone up at the house?
You know it, man. They never wake up. They never wake up.
That's what you think.
Mm-hmm. Well, the dogs do. If the dog wakes up, then one of them has to get up to let a dog out. But that's it.
Yeah.
Natalie, she just went to sleep. She may not even be asleep yet. She was up playing games when I got up. So yeah, let's see here. What do we got here? We can go back to me now. Hey, here I am there. Yeah. So have you listened to the Power Station album? Did we go through that yet?
Which album?
This one here, the Power Station. Robert Palmer, the Taylor Brothers, 1985. I put a link, so if you haven't heard it yet, check it out. It's not too shabby. It's got some great, I mean, everything from the vocals to the songwriting to the guitar and the drums and the bass, everything is just so fucking tight. It really is a power station. I mean,
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, you gotta check that shit out.
No, I will.
Yeah, I believe the Taylor Brothers are the Duran Duran brothers, right? John and Andy Taylor. So there. If I'm mistaken, I hope somebody definitely correctises me. But at this point, I don't give a fuck because I'm going to do another bong hit. Oh, man. I keep looking at this pack of cigarettes here. And I haven't had a cigarette in, God, 13 years. Does that mean that's bad luck? 13? I'm going to smoke this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
I'll peer pressure you.
You're going to pressure me? Peer pressure me?
I'm going to start smoking.
Right, I know. I'll take this.
You're like, come on, dude.
Come on, dude. Let's smoke. Let's have a smoke. I'm going to take this pack of cigarettes here and roll it up into my sleeve there. Yeah, that's the way the tough guys.
I'll convince your daughter to do it. I'll be a bad influence on her.
There you go. Yeah, she's like, no, I see what it does to my dad. I ain't smoking. My God, you ever hear him cough? Oh, jeez. Nah. No. She gets just an easy, she gets better effect out of the gummies anyway. You know, why would you get nasty when you know they could just pop a gummy and go, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, she was probably up all night eating gummies and playing fucking video games. And I'm like, yeah, fucking A. Chill out, kid. I love it when she does stuff for herself, you know, because she does so much that's so demanding that when she has fun, I love it. I totally love it. It's time to pack a bongski. It's time to pack a bongski. I'm still using my graphics here. I love this old graphics bong. The more I use it, the more I feel like I'm back in the 80s. Totally. Colored plexiglass, man. That was like so in and hip back then. Fucking A. Yeah, so I gotta go to this show on Tuesday out at the House of Blues in Anaheim. That should be. I was kind of like dreading it, but now I'm really psyched out for it. It's closer. It's in Anaheim, and there's the possibility that I'm going to get a chair to sit in, so I'm real excited. But that's one of those things where I, you know, as much as at sometimes I just don't want to go. I can't say no because she just totally deserves it. I mean, you know, she works her ass off. You know, literally. Some days she has no ass. It's completely gone. She has to work it off. Yeah. Totally. Of course, I do wish she was going with a peer, somebody that, you know, was into that music. But at the same time, I never give up an opportunity to hang out with my daughter, especially one-on-one. It's just, you know, it's just so cool, you know, and we're not going to, either one of us are going to have this opportunity for long. So, yeah, crazy. I think to my friends who have really, really young kids, right? And I'm just like, wow, man. There are some things, aspects of that I wouldn't even want to think about, you know, when your kid is dating and you're eating dinner at 3 and going to bed at 7. you know, and collecting Social Security. Yeah. and I got friends that are going to be doing this, and I'm like, wow, man, I do not envy you. I do not envy you. We had, when I was growing up, I had friends with older parents, and I was talking to my daughter, and I said, yeah, I mean, some of them were really cool because they had been through everything with the older kids, and now they got younger kids, you know, and it's like they're really easy with the younger kids because they realize that, you know, you don't have to be as hard, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, and they just get burned out. So by the time they get, you know, the youngest kid is like just able to do whatever the hell they want. And then there are those parents where the youngest kid can't do a fucking thing, right?
No, that was me.
And that was you, right? Yeah, so it goes both ways. But I was talking to my daughter about that, about having friends with old parents, and some of them were just so righteously cool because they just been through it, you know. They knew that you didn't have to freak out. And the kids who are now teenagers had already seen their siblings get into trouble, you know. And most of us had already seen our siblings get into trouble, our older siblings. And we were like, fuck that. Fuck that. We were actually pretty decent gang of kids, you know, a dozen or so more of us that were pretty tight, you know. And it varied throughout the years. It would change, and there were kids that would kind of fade out and kids that would kind of fade in. But there was always a pretty big group of us. So anywhere we went, any parties we were at, you know, if there was one of us, there was a dozen of us, you know, and it was pretty cool. Small town rules. Very cool stuff. All right, I'm going in. Cover me. Well, I have no idea what's going on this week. This next week coming up, I do know that we're going to Anaheim to the House of Blues on Tuesday night, and that my daughter is finishing up her last full week at the university this week, and then next week she's got one maybe 2 days that she's not sure yet, but most of it wraps up this week. So she's trying to get a lot done. Good. Yeah, she's trying to get a lot done this week, and I cannot wait. She's going to sleep a lot at first, but I can't wait for her to have time to hang out. You know, there's a few TV shows that we need to catch up on, Futurama, and whatever else pops up while she's on summer break. But mainly, I want to go camping. You know, I just want to go take the dogs and the van and go camping. Oh, and the van, my wife said she finally got through the mechanics yesterday. And I guess Julio just hasn't had a chance. They've been backed up lately, and he just hasn't had a chance to really dig into it. So I'm like, all right, well, they need to get the fuck on the ball. Because them not calling us back when we left a message a week ago, that's strike one. And having it for a week and having done nothing to it, that's I can understand that. That's not a strike. But I showed up yesterday at 5 minutes to 5, and there was somebody pulling out, and the place was locked. You think if somebody was pulling up, that somebody rolled out, a mechanic leaving would roll down his car window and say, hey man, we're closed up, sorry. They drove off. I'm knocking on the door, going into the mail flap, saying, hey, it's not 5 yet. Your fucking thing says 5 here. It ain't 5. That was strike 2. So I told her, you know what, one more strike and we're just going to take it to another mechanic. You know, I just... little things like that, when they don't have their shit together business-wise, it says a lot about them and their abilities profession-wise. So I try to pay attention to the little things, the little details. So it may have been a lost week. It's sitting there, lost 2 weeks by the time we know anything. And that would suck, because that's 2 weeks I didn't have my van, 2 weeks I could have had it someplace else. So we're going to talk to them today and find out what the fuck's going on. I'd like to go camping at least once before August so I can get my camping shit together. I'd like to get the van up and running great before too long so that I can then look for a little trailer to pull my camping gear in, because I don't want to travel with the van loaded full of shit. I want to be able to be in the van comfortably driving and have all the camping gear we need. So that's why it's got a trailer hitch, so I can do that. Any kind of trailer.
I'll go camping with you.
Excellent. Actually, I'm fucking... I need it. Like the last time I went camping was a couple of years ago when its doofus friend was here, and it was like, I gotta go camping. You want to go? And he's like, okay. So we went, and it was too cold, so we couldn't stay in. My plan was to have him sleep in the tent and me to sleep in my van alone and actually enjoy it. It was too cold, so he wouldn't sleep in the tent. So he slept on the floor in the van, and I had to listen to a fucking snore all night. So it wasn't real great. So I need to go in spring, summer, when it's warm enough I can sleep in the tent, and at a place where I can take the dogs and the wife and daughter, and we can all just kind of sit around a fire and just hang out, you know. Within an hour drive of here in any direction is a great fucking place. You know, you go a couple of hours and it just gets better. So within 2 hours, there's like Big Bear, Idlewild, Lake Elsinore, a couple of other places. You could go east a little bit longer and go to the river. You know, there's just so much. There's so many places to go. It's just so fucking awesome. So I need to take advantage of that. I mean, we're centrally located here in Southern California to go just about anywhere. So, yeah, that'd be great if you could show up and go camping sometime. I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how. I gotta get that, make sure that van isn't gonna die on me somewhere. Yeah, getting a tow home isn't a bummer because we've got roadside assistance, AAA, and that shit, so.
Yeah, and I gotta put time off.
Yeah, see, there you go. So definitely get time off for August. You know, the 15th through the 18th.
August?
Yeah, 15th through the 18th. So a few days before, a few days after. But the 15th, yeah, August 15th through the 18th are the 3 days of the party. I'm going to get there and stay there for a week. My wife and daughter are probably going to come down 1 or 2 nights with the dogs. But I'm going to be there mainly so I can be there early enough to get the camp area roped off and get the guy talked into letting me rope off a big area and set up a little makeshift stage. And a month before, I've got to get with Gary, who lives down there, and have him gather up some pallets and some materials to make a little platform to put some musical instruments and stuff on. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get some friends over there to help with the entertainment. Some local people up here, some local people to down there, and just try to get something going on every night. My ultimate original plan was to sell a bunch of shirts and hire on a bunch of music and food trucks and that stuff, and I just didn't get any response at all on helping sell more shirts. There were a few people, a dozen people or so, that bought shirts, and then not one of those people tried to sell more than the shirts that they bought originally. A couple of people bought more than one donation worth of shirts. I was doing 2 shirts for $50, which is a great fucking deal, and nobody shared that concept with anybody. And so the shirts never sold, and I've still got a dozen fucking shirts sitting here. So I can't do the shirt thing anymore, which means I can't raise any more money, and the money that I did raise just went to pay for the shirts. So all I did was hump the bunk on that one. And it's rather annoying that there are a lot of people interested and a bunch of people going, or is claimed to be going, but nobody wants to raise money for the thing. And it would have been real easy to do shirts, because anybody knows that a shirt for $25 is a great fucking deal, right? So, I am eventually going to make a bunch of shirts, and I'm going to wear all of the shirts that I was trying to get them to help buy and create more of. I'm going to actually make shirts of my own and wear all of those shirts. Say, yep, you should have sold more shirts. You should have helped buy shirts. You should have done this, because then you could have one of these shirts, but you didn't. So, and let it go like that. And then if at the party I can take cash orders for 1,000 fucking shirts because I'm wearing shirts that they want, well, then I might actually get some printed. But, nah. Fuck them. Let them get their own shirt ideas and make their own shirts. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Well, it's after 7 in the a.m. and we've gone long because I've got a guest co-host, and we're just sitting here shooting the shit. And, you know, if you're willing to go on, I'm willing to go on. So.
Yeah, we can. Any other weeks I should take off?
Anything between now and then, for sure. I know
I
Natalie.
get about 4 weeks off.
Okay, I know Natalie was talking about October and doing that When We Were Young festival thing again. But I don't know what she has decided about that. If she's gotten tickets, she said that she has a friend from Chicago who said she was going to fly out and that she might try to hook up with her out there. Of course, it didn't go so well, her trying to hook up with her other friend. But this person's a little older, so it might be easier. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what she's got going on for October.
I'll go again.
Oh, cool. I'll let her know and see.
I don't mind.
See if she's got any plans. I like going out to Vegas. I don't like doing the whole standing up all day thing. Yeah, these old legs and back can't do that anymore. No.
No, my legs were tired too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, anything between now and the August week, all you got to do is let me know, and we'll fucking get you booked in here so you can come hang out. And then anything after that week, you know, if you guys decide you want to meet up and do that show again, that's great. You know, just keep me up to date so I know what's going on. But yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm totally up to you coming over and hanging out anytime, because usually the only thing we've got going on during the summer is work, and that's only a few hours a day, a few days a week. So we really do have, when Natalie's not in school, we do have a lot of time to go do stuff for a day or two in a row, right? Whereas during the school year, between our work schedule and her class schedule, we're pretty much always at home on the weekends during the week, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when we've got, like when she's got a concert or something planned, something out of town, one of us usually has to stay behind because there's something else going on. You know, a house needs to be cleaned or some shit. So, yeah, totally. But, yeah.
I'll see if I can put time off in June.
In June? What is this now? This is May. So June, yeah, totally June. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I couldn't put time off in May. Wouldn't let me.
Okay. Well, when you start thinking about a day or a week, a period of time, get with me, because I can get a house blocked for a day here and a day there and do that again, so that you got your own space at some point. You can stay here as much as you want, but it's always nice to have your own space. So, and it's up to you whether or not you just want to come hang out here and use the new air mattress, or you know, go to the air mattress and pick a dog and hang out in the living room. Shit. pretty easy. But yeah, whatever you want to do. But let me know ahead of time so I can figure stuff out if we want to go either way. Totally. That'd be awesome. Totally awesome. And then we can try to also plan something to do.
Yeah.
Something.
Maybe the first week of June.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Or second.
Okay. Well, I'll start looking at the schedule and start looking at what's going on out here in June. Because there's always something going on, either out here or down in Palm Springs. Like I think it's May or I think it's this upcoming week in May or this weekend. There's like this 1980s retro vintage comic like convention thing going on in Palm Springs. And I was thinking, oh, that would be so cool to just go there and hang out and poke around, dress up in a bunch of 80s crap and go down there. I was thinking about getting a big, thick, heavy gold chain and putting it around my neck and hanging my Simon electronic game around my neck. That'd be so funny. And then wearing my 1980s Nike jogging suit. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Take a like a 1980s backpack type thing with a bunch of 1980s crap in it. So you could like just sit down and set up like a little picnic blanket and then pull out a bunch of 80s crap and just sit there and be in the 80s. I used to do that at the Renaissance Fair. When I went to the Renaissance Fair in the 90s, I would create all of these artifacts by hand, and then I would jam them into a handmade rucksack, and then I would take them. I'd take a hand-carved walking staff, and all of these handmade outfit, and all of these things, and wooden bowl and spoons, and a tankard, and a bag of real coins. I would go to the bank and say, give me $100 in coins, and get silver dollars and different size coins and shit, and use that as my currency. And then I'd go and I would just set out a blanket and I would just sit down and I would start beading or sewing or whittling or something, and just live in the moment. Sit under a tree and read Robin Hood. No wonder I didn't have many friends. I was a kook. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyway, what do you got going on this weekend, dude?
Sleep.
Yeah, I'll bet. Time to catch up, huh?
Cleaning my records.
Oh, wow. Well, at least you have time to do that.
And using my record player.
Yeah, I need to spend time using my record player. I think today I actually get to listen to records.
Yeah, I just replaced my belt on my turntable like yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
A new turntable?
No, just the one I use. I just had to replace the belt.
Oh, how old is that one?
5 years.
Oh, okay. Right on, right on. Yeah, because the one I have now, this Audio-Technica one that I bought a couple of years ago, it's the professional DJ model.
That's direct drive. It doesn't have a belt.
Right. It's magnetic drive. It's really heavy duty. I mean, you pull.
Yeah, I almost bought that one.
Yeah, you pull the plate out, and it's got this big giant bunch of magnets inside there. It's fucking righteous, man. It goes backwards and forwards, and changes the pitch and the speeds, and it's got the anti-skew and the balance and everything on it. So it's even got 2 start buttons, right? So you can twist it to the side and use one button to start and stop it. But I got it because I got so many old records. I have to have the balance and the anti-skew and stuff to keep the records from bouncing all over the place. But
my turntable has that.
Yeah. Huh? Yours?
I mean, most turntables have that. Like
well,
the counterweight.
A lot of the new ones just suck. They're those cheap ones that don't have any of that. They're not even automatic. They got an arm to lift it up and down, and that's it. And I didn't want one of those. I didn't want one of the newer ones. My daughter said that she had done research, and she said a lot of the newer turntables kind of fuck up your records, so she didn't want me to get one of those. She didn't want to do one, so that's why she made me get her that 1979 Sanyo, which is perfect. It's a great machine. But this one here, this Audio-Technica one, this one cost me like $700. And it was just, it weighs a fucking ton because of the magnets in it. And it's just a great fucking, a great turntable. In fact, I'm looking at it sitting over there in my stereo cabinet there on the rack, and the turntable sits right above my reel-to-reel tape deck, which means that that big giant magnet is right next to wherever I play reels. So I've got to do something about that. I've got to move that reel-to-reel. I'll probably bring it in here. I think I'll bring it in here and set it up here somewhere, so that way I can just put a camera on it and upload some more of my father's old radio stuff, because I've still got a few tapes that I haven't uploaded. That'd be cool. Some of the good memories from my childhood was him working at that radio station at the college, and then a couple of professional radio stations around Southern California. But those were neat times. Or like when he lived at the, or didn't live, but he was a student at the university, and I spent a lot of time there with him out of school, going with him to the campus to hang out and do technical stuff there, and that was memories that I would never trade for anything. Even though most days I went hungry, most days when I went back to school I would get harassed by the teachers and staff and everybody. But I would imagine that the reason I was out of school so much is because I was such a problem child in school. And they were happy to see me gone. So in most of the schools, they just keep pushing me forward, advancing me in grade, pushing me forward, even though I didn't do any of the work. And I was rarely there. So when I was there, it must have been, they didn't really want me there. So they were happy I was gone. So I was happy I was gone. And then the times that I do remember being in school, of course, were emotional times, because you tie memories to emotions. So I remember a lot of crying, yelling, screaming, throwing stuff at teachers, just being a rat, just being an asshole. Basically because they would treat me like shit. They would treat me like a little fucking monkey, you know. They would treat me like something other than human. They would treat me like shit. All the other kids got great, fair treatment, but when it came to me, they would give me that look, right? And I hated that look. So much so that when somebody would just look at me, I would freak the fuck out on them and start throwing books. Yeah, good times. Good times. I think the last time I threw a book or freaked out in school was probably in junior high, 7th grade. Mainly because I was still just treated like shit. Bullied by everyone. Even the little kids that got bullied, they would bully me. It was pretty bad. But that's okay. It was good times. It was good times. It made me the guy I am today. Sweet, lovable me. I like a person. I love a person. I really dislike people in general, because you get people together and it's like a herd mentality. You know, you could do anything with a herd of people. Get them to think anything, get them to do anything, go anywhere, eat anything. Yeah. When you got one person, you talk to one person, interact with one person. That's great. That's awesome. You know, I love that. any more than a couple of people, and people start to react as if they're being judged on how they respond. You know, should I go with this person or that person? I'm going to go with this person over here because they're thinking stuff that's a little more along my line. Now I'm going to be judgmental of that person. And that's how I see that. I don't know. There are probably a lot of people who tune into my show and tune out real quick when I start, I don't know, just speaking my mind, because I fall so far out of line with what normal people, regular, average people are thinking, right? Yeah, I mean, where's the harm in that? I think there's all the harm is in thinking the way that everyone else thinks. I mean, you lead to the state of, that the country's in right now, where you get so many people following along very few ways of thought, and from so many opposite ends of the spectrum as well. And there's just so much division. Nobody wants to get along. Nobody even tries anymore. It's just my way or the highway mentality. I'm going to think like this, and to hell with anyone who wants to think differently. And I'm going to judge them if they don't like it. Oh, man. And I grew up with so many judgmental people, just looking down their noses at me. And now you have, hundreds and thousands, millions of people programmed to just look down on other people. For whatever reason, for their financial, social standing, for the color of their skin, for whatever religion they follow, and people just look down on them. Well, they're just not right. They're not right in the head, so they're not good. They're different. If they're not like me, I don't have to like them. It's like this. I was going through a couple of videos like I do, and after a couple I would just go, this is crazy. But I came across this one video of a guy talking to a lady, and her thing was, I don't have to like you because I don't know you, and I don't have to be nice to you for the one reason is I don't know you, so therefore you're a stranger, and I don't have to be nice to you. Period. I can be as fucked up and as mean and as rude to you as I want to because I don't know you. It doesn't matter to me how you feel about it. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like so many people I run into every day. Like the ones who cut me off in traffic every day, several times a day. And I don't drive that far. I'm driving 45 minutes. And maybe an hour. And I get so many idiots just, fuck you, I don't care. And then they get pissed off if you do the same thing to them. They pull in front of you when you're hauling ass 80 on the freeway in the fast lane, and they shoot over from the slow lane, 3 lanes across, doing 50. The lanes are to progressively speed up, idiots. Don't get in my fucking lane unless you're doing my speed. And they do that. They get into my lane, and then they do 55, 60, 60. And then maybe they'll speed up. Maybe. But usually they don't. And then you pull around them, you get in front of them at their speed, and then ease up on and then they're like, what the fuck? And then they pass you with their hands up. What the fuck, dude? How dare you? It's like, do you not have any memory of what you just did to half the people behind you on the fucking freeway? You just cut a bunch of people off getting to the fast lane at 50, and then slowed the fast lane down. Now the fast lane is backed up, and people are now going around you, but you're going to flip somebody off because they got in front of you at your speed. Fuck you. I have a hard time driving with my blinders on, because I think one of the worst things that a human can be is stupid. That's the worst. It doesn't matter what kind of human you are. You're either a good human or you're a bad human. For me, the worst of the bad humans rank right up there in the top 10. Stupid is right up there. That's one of the worst things you can be on this fucking planet, is a stupid fucking human. And unfortunately, our planet is mostly populated by stupid people. Stupid, ignorant, selfish, self-serving, self-gratifying narcissists who just want to worry about themselves. So much so that they don't even worry about their fucking families or the people closest to them. You know, once again, you know, you're 18, get out of my house, that kind of thing. It's like, come on. Yeah, people are fucked up. And the worst are fucked up people. Fucked up, stupid people. Any kind of fucked up asshole person who is then stupid as well. You know, any combination that has stupid in there, dumbass or fucking moron. Yeah, that's the worst thing you can be, is stupid. Because with stupid, there's no change. With stupid comes ignorance and lack of the ability to fucking learn, right? They don't learn. They're a fucking idiot. They don't learn. Stupid. Planet populated with mostly stupid people who are easily programmed by other stupid people with stupid ideas. You know, like videos of the reset, right, where they try to claim that 125, 150 years ago there was a reset, and we dug out of the rubble and we rebuilt, and if you look below national monuments, there's more buried under there, and yada, bullshit. You know, and where were all of these people in this photograph? Well, it was fucking Sunday, idiot. They're all in church. It's 1900s. Every single fucking human is in church in the 1900s in America. So, of course, that's when you take a photograph of an empty town. You know? Why is there so much rubble and desolation and destruction in this town? And why is the whole... Because it's 1909 fucking San Francisco earthquake, or 1906 or whatever it was, right? So, of course, it's going to look like devastation. What do you mean, fucking reset? If there was any reset going on, it was thousands of years ago, you know, when new religions were born, and population was fucking nothing. That's when a reset happens, you know. I like those photographs of them, babies being born in breeders, and giant rooms filled with babies in rows and rows and rows and rows. Yeah, they were pumping out a lot of babies back then. I don't know why they were still trying to populate this country. I think we're trying to just boast our numbers for war, right? Which is usually the case, you know. You got to have a lot of people to fight a lot of wars. And especially after World War I and World War II, we were really, really pumping out the babies. So there were entire hospital wards just filled with babies everywhere. It wasn't some sort of conspiracy. It wasn't a reset. It was just that we had a lot of babies going on. And then with the diseases and stuff, you had a lot of babies in hospitals who were sick. You had a lot of babies who were in hospitals because their parents were sick. So, or parents who were dead from illness, you know. The Spanish flu, what was that? That disease with the body and oh shit, there goes my brain. I better take this bong hit. Polio, the great polio thing. That was killing a lot of people. There were a lot of periods throughout history where we, for some reason, we just had to kill a lot of people off. And we did. We did it with war. We did it with disease. But why? Was it because we needed to pay a bunch of bodies? There we go back to Conspiracy Corner. Paying a bunch of bodies to somebody They needed a bunch of bodies. You know, how many people died in World War II? Do you have any clue? So before you look it up, about 60 million people died in World War II. 60 million people for about 10 years. Under 10 years in World War II. That's a lot of fucking people. That's a lot of people. A lot of them died in concentration camps and were burned and turned into oil, turned into black tar and paved. They used their black tar from their burnt bodies to pave the roads in Nazi Germany. So much so that after the war, they had to dig up most of the roads in Nazi Germany and replace them because the roads were actually paved with bodies. 60 million people, over 60 million people. Our total costs of allies was like 100 and something, 160 or 60,000, 600 and something thousand people, right? I mean, the numbers are staggering as to how many allied forces, you know, died versus everyone else who died. The Russians, the Germans, the Polish, the Jews, Italians, French. So many people died, yet we were spared so many lives. We gave a lot of lives, but we were spared so many lives. Why? Why? Was it because our government was in cahoots with the alien overlords? Huh? I don't know, but something fishy has been going on this planet for a long, long time. A long time. And it's crazy to think that those numbers, same thing with all of the wars, one side has always spared so many lives, and it's been mainly the U.S., you know, and I think that's probably going to change. Something's going to change. Somebody with more intelligence is going to rule a foreign country and say, you know what, now's the time. Now we've got idiots on board over there and over there and over there. Now it's time to take over everything and rule the world. At the same time, I think we're also left to think about the New World Order and the fact that there's a lot of governments that are on board with a specific agenda. And everything that we see is just subterfuge. It's just bullshit to make us think that we know what's going on, but we really don't. There's a lot going on that they've been hiding from us. And it's easy to hide from people who are so easy to believe what they're told. Look over there. Sure, everybody's been just looking the other way for 25 years now. Since that's when we should have reset the calendar, right? Was fucking 2001. Then we should have reset the calendar, because that's when things fucking changed. That's when changed for the worst, horribly, on this fucking planet. Not just in this country, but the entire planet has been paying for the bullshit. The bullshit, the conspiracy bullshit that a number of countries have been doing on us humans, us lowly humans. Those elite. Have you ever seen the movie They Live?
No.
No? A John Carpenter movie?
I don't watch movies.
Okay. Well, that's good, because most movies are crap. But the movies that I watch have actual meaning, right? Like the Planet of the Apes, you would think it's just, oh gosh, that's just a fucking bunch of monkeys running around. But it's not just a bunch of monkeys running around. It's actual, you know, political commentary on what's happening on the planet on a human level. And they just use apes to get their point across. But, yeah, the movie They Live by John Carpenter, starring the professional wrestler Roddy Piper, the guy in a kilt. that movie pretty much sums up what's happening right now. Of course, it probably has a lot to do with aliens, but we don't get to see any of that. We don't get to see any of that in the real world because they've got us blinded. So if you watch that movie, you see how they've got us blinded, what's going on, and the fact that we do have a human elite on this planet, and they are in control, and they are able to do whatever the hell they want. And they can feed us to them at any time. And all they got to do is say, well, let's have a war. And then we'll see how many humans from your side we can feed and how many humans from our side we can feed. And that's how they pay back the overlords. All right, your side lost. Not only that, but you got to give up you don't just get to give up the bodies, but you got to give up the spoils of war. Goes back to gold, man. There's a lot of stuff they want from this planet. And they put us here to gather it. And every once in a while they show up to collect. And collection day is coming up again. And are they going to have to hit a reset, or are we going to give it up willingly, unknowingly, but willingly? Probably the latter. We'll just give it up. We won't know why we're giving it up, but we'll give up all our gold. We'll give up a couple of 100,000 humans to a war, or some kind of famine, or tidal wave, or earthquake, or something. So we'll just give up a bunch of humans, whether or not we know it, whether or not we're doing it willingly. We'll do it. Because the rest of us will go on. Humans just go on. That's what we do. We go on. Most humans have a short memory and can easily be programmed to just worry about the next set of troubles down the road. And I'm not like that anymore. I try to look at, of course I've got an imagination, but I try to look at what's going on in the world through a realistic lens, albeit a little out there. But I think if you look at it through a realistic lens, then you're looking at the world through exactly the lens that they want you to look through, because you've had a programmed reality. Your reality has been programmed into you. So if you look at the world the way you should, that's exactly the way you shouldn't. So therefore, you have to use your imagination and look at the world a little bit cockeyed, a little bit skewed. I say jump up and down, tilt your head, squint your eyes, and blink back and forth. And that's how you should look at the world. All right? Read between the lines, and then read between those lines. Because nothing is ever as they make it appear. Some stuff is exactly what it is, because they have nothing to do with it. But those who are in charge can make us jump through burning hoops, bare naked. Because they have that control. They have us programmed. So many people out there right now are jumping through that burning hoop because they don't know anything else other than the reality that's been programmed into them. Who says that we have to exist the way we're told, right? It's always someone higher up, a higher of authority, your parents, their bosses, their minister, the bishop, the president, the guy who pays the president, right? It's always somebody further up. And in our case, it could very well be alien overlords. Alien overlords. That's it. I think we're damned if we do and damned if we don't actually look at shit and go, well, maybe a lot of what's going on right now is a huge distraction because they're setting us up for something. Something's either happening right now under our noses, or they're setting us up to look in the other direction again. In the last 25 years, they've had us looking in the other direction from the burning of New York's skyline, and I hate mentioning any numbers or any specific catchphrases, but I'll just say the burning of New York skyline right into the last pandemic, and all the little things in between, WMDs, all of this shit. It's all been to keep us looking in the other direction because something's going on. Something's been happening for the last 25 years. And we were about to catch on. Why do you think that immediately after we lost our skyline, that X-Files was canceled? Because if you watch the last few episodes of X-Files, they were getting too fucking close with what was going on. Period. So they had to cancel them. And yeah, no shit. I'm speaking gospel here, people. I'm absolutely telling you the truth. The last 25 years, they've had us looking in so many directions. Now they've got us once again looking at ourselves, the people right next door. What's his religion? Is he just getting out of the shower, or is he going to kneel down and pray? He looks a little dark. I don't know if I should trust him. His skin's just a little too less than white. You don't like my candidate? I'm going to hate you. I'm literally going to hate you. And then on top of that, you can find some kind of stadium or arena or pavilion or something to see your favorite rock band or your favorite sporting team or your favorite fucking magician. It don't matter. They're gonna keep you distracted. Casinos, there's a fucking spring break everywhere, every goddamn fucking week of the year now. Everywhere you go, there's a party going on. Party on planet Earth. We're gonna party like it's fucking today. Ooh, the house is waking up. Hey dog, how you doing? So they're going to keep us distracted, they're going to keep us busy, they're going to keep us looking at the other direction, and they're going to keep us looking at each other and hating each other. Why? Because they got something going on. They got something going on that they don't want us to know about. They're going to give in and say, oh yeah, we finally admit that this is going on and that is going on. And that's more subterfuge. That's more wool over the eyes. It's just bullshit. They're going to keep us looking elsewhere, because what they got going on is not what we think. They want us to think aliens. They want us to think governments, because the richest, the most powerful people on the planet, they don't even think about money anymore. They don't. They rule governments. They rule the whole planet. So they're looking at us, even the most richest people on the planet, to them are still just slaves, right? So what's going to happen is they're either going to pick up and they're going to leave, or they're going to devastate most of the population of the planet, and they're going to leave a handful in small pockets, and that big elite power, they're going to hide somewhere. They're either going to go to Mars and they're going to hide and then come back, or they're going to hide somewhere on planet Earth, just like they've been doing for thousands and thousands of years, hundreds, possibly hundreds of thousands of years, pushing buttons and making things happen from behind the curtain, We may never see Oz from behind the curtain. We may never know who's really pulling the strings. But shit's happening, and they're setting us up. That's why they've got us so distracted and so aimed at each other right now, is because they're setting something up. I don't know what. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I said it before a number of times. I said it before just before we lost the skyline. I said it a number of times in between this pandemic. We stocked our house full of food a year and a half before there was even a hint of that pandemic. Why? Because I smelled something in the wind. I saw the writing on the wall. I knew it was coming. Did we have to worry? No. We ate a lot of beans and rice. We ate a lot of canned food. But we didn't have to worry, and we didn't have to leave the house for 6 weeks. Was it necessary? I don't know. But I wasn't going to take any fucking chances. Knowing my government and knowing that they're really, really easily disposed to just saying, we can give up a bunch of people. We don't. That's why they have wars, because they can give up a bunch of people. You know, look how many people we lost in Vietnam. You know, it's fucking horrible. But that's what governments are for, to decide who lives and who dies, right? And we give them that power. But we also give them the power to create the reasons why we have to die. And that's not right. And more, the humans on this planet are figuring that out. And at some point, they're going to have to shut all those people up. You know? And it's going to be real easy to do, because places like Facebook and social media, where people will just get on and say exactly what's on their mind all the time. You know, am I afraid of that? Oh, no. Definitely not of that. No. Why? Because I have been not afraid of the government since they persecuted our family, starting back in 1973. So I don't give a fuck. You know? Being old and decrepit, knowing that I probably ain't got much time left anyway, fuck them. You know? What are they going to do? Make a digital reproduction of me? You know? Running into Times Square naked with dynamite strapped to my chest? Yeah, I don't fucking think so. And if they did, well, good on them. I'll buy a copy of that. I'll autograph it. I don't give a fuck. If it's done good enough, if it looks like me, I'll make the schwanz really, really long, you know. That would be nice. That would be nice. But I think there's something. What do you think, Joey? You think there's anything going on?
What?
Yeah, I can't stop.
Yeah, totally, man.
I can't stop mid-bong hit to talk. But what do you think? Do you think there's anything going on in the world? Something behind the curtain?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if yes, then what? What do you think is going on? Use your imagination, and what do you think? You know.
I'm too tired and hungry for that.
I hear you. I'm about ready to grab something to eat. Totally. So this week's quote was, don't hitch your wagon to a broken horse. Or, no, don't hitch your horse to a broken wagon. Or don't hitch your wagon to a dead horse. That's the quote of the week. So,
all right.
I had nothing to do with anything, but I had to get that out there because it's the end of the week, end of the show, so to speak. Yeah. We'll have to get more into this on the next Conspiracy Corner as to what... But then again, now that we've got this out, now you're gonna look at things in the news, you're gonna look at politics, you're gonna see things happening a little bit differently. And not the stuff that random kooks and groups of random kooks are trying to pass off as reality, as in videos on Facebook and YouTube and stuff where they go, no, this is really going on, dude. I'm talking about the news, the national news, world news, local news. Watch those programs and see what's going on there, because that's where the programming is. That's where they're taking you and saying you have to think that this is going on. And then set your head askew and think, well, what if, you know? And then that's where you start to think outside the box and start to see reality anew, you know? So I think we should, in the near future, we should do more of that. All right, I've got, this has been Joey, co-host on the line here this morning. Say good morning, Joey.
Sup?
And we have been here discussing the usual crap. We looked through a cigar box full of memorabilia together, and we discussed conspiracy theories. We'll do that next Friday, and more Fridays to come, as we look at the world askew, look at the world from outside the box, and then outside of the warehouse that the box is in. So thanks a lot, Joey, for hanging out. The kitchen is open, which means I get to go eat breakfast now. And...
Who's up?
Yeah. Mom's up.
Good morning.
Joey says good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Joey. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Oh, he's about to. He's going to eat and sleep and... Yeah. I will be back Monday. Don't know what's happening Tuesday. And great thing about Natalie being on summer break soon is we get to start Minecrafting together on Monday nights. And if we can get you to Minecraft with us over a weekend at some point, we'll do that and just go and do us like a Minecrafting special. And that'll be fun. That'll be fun. But yeah, she's totally up for it. As long as she's not on camera, she don't care. So, you guys. All right. Well, I guess I am going to let you go so that I can queue up my stuff and get the hell out of here, brother. So, yeah, start looking forward to some day, some week coming up anytime between now and August, and then, of course, August, and then any time after that. And just let me know what's up, man. Totally. And we'll get you back out here to have some fun. Totally.
Yeah.
All right, brother, man.
I'm gonna ship a package to you soon.
Oh, okay. Right on.
I'm just waiting for some shit to come in the mail.
Ah, cool. I'll send you a bong, dude.
I don't want that.
It's a great shelf art. It really is. Yeah, that's the bong this dude sent. I don't smoke, but I got a bong, dude. Yeah, I like the ones that just really... Back in the 70s, they made some great bongs out of ceramic, and they would make them out of big owls with wings and stuff, or a gargoyle holding a little bowl where you could put your pot and then stick your pot in the bowl, and they looked like vases. They looked like shelf art until you realize that there's a bowl and you could smoke out of it. But yeah, we used to have, when I was young, my parents had a little collection of different kinds of pipes. But no, I won't send you a bong. The police show up. This guy sent you a bong in the mail. That's illegal in this state.
No,
I'll call you from jail. Yeah, I tried to send you a bong, and they said nope, not in Virginia. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go. Get something to eat. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Have a good day's sleep, and we'll talk to you soon, man. If I don't talk to you over the weekend, I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. It's been awesome. I will. I'll get with you soon, man. I'm gonna let you go. Adios.
All right. See you.
All right, later, bro. All right, and that was Joey coming to us from the other side of the country. He works nights, so he shows up, and it's like his after work time. So he was able to stay and hang out with us, and that is pretty dang cool. I am going to bring up my end credits for the show, and I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. We went on a little long today because Joey showed up a little late, and he had to go to the DMV. He spent his morning at the DMV, so wow. What a guy. I'd be tired and hungry, too. I will be back Monday morning with I don't know what the hell. I'll figure that over the weekend. So look forward to the commercial and the program guide, the promos to let you know what's coming on next week. I'll get that to you like Sunday, probably. I don't like to do it any sooner because I like to have time to plan and then coordinate all of the promos and stuff. So I'll talk to you real soon with that. Let's see. Otherwise, yeah, you guys know what to do. When you're out there in the world, even at home, be nice, be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit. Be nice to each other. I mean, it's real easy to be a dick, right? It's real easy to be nice, too. Just go the opposite way. Just think, gee, maybe I'll just be nice instead, right? Do that. All right. Do something nice for yourself, but do something nice for somebody else too. Why? Because it makes you feel human, and it makes you feel good. It makes somebody else feel good. All right. Most especially out there, stay weird. Because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. All right, people. Love you lots. Take care of yourselves. Join me next week for another exciting week of mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. Until then, have fun. Love y'all. Take care. And adios.